Hi YouTube. My first video. I'm gonna perform the color changing aces routine with 4 aces. Right here they are. It's only 4 aces, just to start. So here we go. First, you have a spectator, obviously in front of you or whatever, and you show them the first ace. In this case, it's the ace of hearts, top card. You ask them to hold their hand out. You put the ace of hearts in their hand. You turn the pack over. Ace of diamonds on bottom. You put that with the other red ace, and you put these two in their other hand. And wouldn't you know it, they change places just like that. Now let me explain how that's done. It's really only the 4 aces, obviously. There's no real setup to it other than you need to make sure that the aces are red, black, or black, red. And here's the 2 techniques to accomplish this. First, you need to know how to do a double lift. If you don't already know, it's not that hard. I can show you. What you do is you catch a pinky break underneath the second card. This is a pinky break, if you can see it here. And you lift 2 cards up as though they are 1. Like that. So, yeah, you catch a break under the second card, just like this, and then you lift up 2 cards as 1, show them to the spectator, and then ask the spectator to put their hand out, and they do, and you really are putting a red ace over here, not the ace of clubs. Okay, and then at that point you turn the pack over, ace of spades is on the bottom, and you perform what is known as a bottom slide, as you can see here. And what that does is just slide the bottom card back a little bit so you can grab that other red ace right there. And how that's done is with your pinky and fingers here, you just kind of do one of these here and it slides it back just like that when you turn your hand over. It takes a little practice, but when you get it right, you turn your hand over, it'll be slid back and you can grab the other red ace and set it over there with it. Then you square them up kind of like that and they change places. Let me go through the routine one more time so you can have a look at it. Now, what you first have to do is make sure they are placed in that order. Black, red. And then you're ready to start. You catch your pinky break. You lift up 2 cards as 1 here, like that. Ace of diamonds. And then you take that red ace, you put it over here. You got the other red ace on the bottom. You do your bottom slide. And they change places, just like this. And that's how you do a simple color changing aces routine, just like that. So this is my first video on YouTube. I hope to see you guys back. I hope you enjoy it. It's got 2 simple techniques that are essential. So like, share, comment, and watch the next video. Hey guys, what's up? This tutorial is just going to be explaining simple shuffling, how to shuffle a deck. And there's some people out there that may not have ever touched a deck of cards and don't even know how to shuffle. So I'm going to go through the 4 basic methods of shuffling, starting with the overhand shuffle. It's where you take a group of cards, about half the deck, from the bottom of the pack. You hold the deck in your hand like this, just kind of rest it in your hand on your fingers. And you just kind of take about half the cards from the bottom and just start taking off small packets and throwing them on the top. This is renowned as one of the worst ways to shuffle. People don't think it shuffles the deck very well. With this shuffle, you can run cards as well, doing 1 card at a time, kind of like that. But it's the overhand shuffle. You just take a pack off the bottom and kind of throw small packets on the top. It's one of the most satisfying ways to shuffle. And that's shuffle number 1, the overhand shuffle. Shuffle number 2, most common home game or shuffle would be the bridge shuffle. You take a pack, well here, let me just show you how it's done. You just kind of do this and then bridge it. And that is known as a bridge shuffle. Just like that. You hold the pack in your right hand, you take about half of it into your left hand, kind of like that. Square them up and then shuffle them and give them a bridge. And that is the bridge shuffle. That's shuffle number 2. Shuffle number 3 is kind of the same as the overhand shuffle, but it's known as a Hindu shuffle. And you hold the deck in your left hand, in my case, the left hand, from the back of the cards, kind of like that, thumb and fingers on one side. And then you just grab cards from the top of the pack and slowly, small packets off onto the bottom of the pack until the shuffle is completed. And that is known as a Hindu shuffle, or another way to do the overhand shuffle, a different type of overhand shuffle. And then there's shuffle number 4, which is known to be, or at least said to be, the best shuffle because people can't glimpse the cards. Because if you're doing this, you know, you can see the bottom cards and stuff. This shuffle is known to be the safest and best shuffle because nobody can see the cards. And with this one, you leave the deck on the table. It's called the Casino Table Riffle Shuffle, or Table Casino Riffle Shuffle. And you take half the pack into your right hand, half the pack into your left hand. Ruffle the corners together like that, and then push the deck up and square it. Just like that. That's the Table Casino Shuffle. Now, you can do a bridge with this shuffle as well. And it looks something like this. And that's how you get a bridge with the Table Casino Shuffle. And what I'm doing to do that is I'm first doing the standard shuffle, straightening the cards up, and then I'm using my pinkies and my other fingers to hold the card straight, but my pinkies are doing all the work holding the pressure to actually riffle the pack like that. And that is the 4 basic ways to shuffle the deck. The overhand shuffle, the most common home shuffle would be the bridge shuffle, and then the other way to do an overhand shuffle or Hindu shuffle, and the classic casino table riffle shuffle. What's up, guys? This is the easy tutorial on the Stripcut false shuffle. Let me show you what it looks like. Looks just like that. And every time the deck stays in the same order. Like right now it's ace to king, ace to king, ace to king, and ace to king, and all suits. And when you do the shuffle, no card changes places at all. It maintains the entire deck in its order. Ace to king, ace to king, ace to king, and ace to king. Now let's talk about how it's done. What you want to do is take the top half of the pack in your right hand and the bottom half of the pack in your left hand, and then riffle them together, being sure to leave the last few cards from the left hand on top. And then use your ring finger and pinky on those corners and your thumb on the back corners. So, like you're playing a piano. And then push the cards together until they touch, till the two front corners touch your ring fingers, and then square them up. This should leave the deck protruding out where you just shuffled it and all the fingers in front are cover so no one can see that. And then you just strip out the shuffled portion and throw it back on top of the pack, keeping the deck in its order. So in slow motion it looks like this. I'm using my pinky and ring finger on those corners, thumb on the back corners, and then pushing them till they touch the ring fingers and squaring up, and then stripping out the shuffle and placing it right back on top. So the deck never changes its order. Ace to king, ace to king, ace to king. And that is the most simple way to do a strip cut false shuffle. Just like that. What's up, YouTube? I'm going to go through a simple double lift routine. It's actually got a Hindu shuffle technique in it as well. It's a very nice trick. Most people really enjoy it. They're really surprised. So here we go. Let me go through the routine. First, you have the spectators select any card. Doesn't matter which one they select. It's totally a free choice. But let's just say they select this Joker here. And you don't have to see it. Tell them not to show you. And what you do is you then start a shuffle, Hindu shuffle like this. You ask them to tell you to stop. So they say stop, like right here. And you have them put their card back in the deck, and you shuffle off, losing their card in the deck somewhere in the middle. You don't know what the card is. They don't know where it's at. You don't know where it's at. The card's essentially lost in the deck somewhere. You then take the top card of the deck, show it to them. You say, well, this is the Queen of Diamonds. This isn't your card, right? And they'll say no. You say, okay, well, hold your hand out for a second. Let me put that Queen of Diamonds here and sandwich it between your hands so I can't get to it. And when they do that, you take another card, maybe smack their hand with it, or just do like that, and this becomes the Queen of Diamonds over here, and they end up having the selected card, their selected card, in their hand. Pretty nice. Now, let's explain how that's done. It really doesn't matter what card they select. They can select any card. You don't have to see it. You don't have to know what it is. And when you do the Hindu shuffle and you start shuffling off and they say stop, this is where the magic happens. They put their card back in. What you do is squeeze the top portion of the pack like that in between your two fingers, keeping their card there, and you finish shuffling off, keeping their card right there. And when you get to the bottom and you shuffle it all off, you simply take their packet and throw it on top. So the selected card is on top, right here. And then you perform the double lift, showing them that their card is not on top. And you want to place it in their hand. So you place the three of clubs over there. What you're really doing is placing their card there. And then you're doing whatever and making them change places. Just like that. And that's how this works. If you like the video, like, subscribe, share, come back and watch the next one. Today's video is going to be about the second deal, and just like the name says, you deal the second card of the pack. For instance, if I have a Joker on top here, and I deal it onto this pile. The joker should be here, but it's not. I keep it for myself on top of the pack. So it doesn't matter how many cards I deal out, the joker stays on top of the pack because I am dealing the second card. Let me flip the deck over to show you what this is, what this looks like. If the joker's on top, I just grab the second card like this and keep the joker for myself the whole time. You can even turn cards over this way and keeping the joker for yourself. And that's what a second deal looks like right there. Now let me explain how you can achieve this. It takes lots of practice. You start by rubbing your thumb slightly without moving any cards, just on the back of the deck like this. Just lightly rub your thumb. That's the move. And then you increase the pressure onto the card just enough to make the card slide with your thumb. But you don't want to have a lot of pressure because it'll be almost impossible to get that second card out from underneath of it if you're pushing down on it. You have to lightly rub and then just ever so lightly move that top card with it. And once you get that down, you reach in with your thumb and you grab the border of the card underneath of it, like this. It's useful to practice slowly doing this. And then speeding it up ever so lightly and slowly until you get really good at it. It takes 100 hours practice, I don't know, a lot of practice to get this down. But once you do, you'll be able to keep the card you want on top, just rubbing your thumb to get started and then slightly moving the card and then grabbing the card underneath of it. Just like this in slow motion. This is the easiest way to do the second deal. There are much more complicated ways. I haven't practiced those for 100 hours. So here we go. This is how you do this one. And to turn the cards over, you do the same exact thing, but then use your index finger or middle finger to grab it instead of your thumb, like that. And that's how you do the second deal. Best thing you could probably do is put on your favorite TV show or series and just sit for like a half hour just slowly doing this, and if it's boring to you, and then as you're watching your show you'll begin to forget and you'll just sit here and deal the cards out one after another, holding the top card for yourself every time until you get really good at it and you can deal them on out. And that's the second deal right there. If you like the video, share, drop a like, subscribe, come back for the next one. What's up, guys? Today's video is going to be about two fancy triple cuts that are false cuts. Let me show them to you and then I'll explain how they're done. Here we go. First one is like this. It's a fun little fancy triple cut that is also a false cut. It doesn't change the order of any card in the deck. I'll show you what I mean with the King of Diamonds here on top. Stays on top. And the second one is this here. They go really well together in a performance. Looks like you're cutting the deck, mixing it all up, but really they are false cuts. You could watch it in slow motion and see how they're done, but there they are. Alright. So let me explain to you how they are done. The first one is more complicated, obviously. And what you do is you take your index finger of your left hand, the one holding the deck, above the deck like this, and you just pinch off 1/3 of the pack and move it over to your right hand into the crease of your thumb, and then let it settle and drop down into your hand. And then take another 1/3 of the deck, bring it over, and when you bring it over, with your ring finger and thumb, you pick up the top portion of the deck and squeeze the middle portion in between your thumb and finger, or thumb and hand, in the crease of your thumb. Then you bring your 3 fingers over, your ring finger, index finger, and pointer finger, with your ring finger under the deck, and you flip that pack up and over. So this is the middle portion of the deck. The top portion of the deck's here, and the bottom is right here. You then bring the bottom over, put it into the crease of your thumb, and then put the middle back onto the middle. So now you got the bottom and the middle, and then you set the top back on. And that's how it's done. So what you do is, like I said, 1/3, bring it over in the crease of your thumb, kind of let it settle, and then you take 1 more 1/3, the middle part of the deck here, you bring it over, and you use your ring finger and thumb to grab the top portion and put the middle portion into your hand, and then you grab with your index finger, middle finger, and ring finger, you grab it, that pack, and flip it up, and then put the bottom into the crease of your thumb, and put the middle back on top of the bottom, and the top back on top. Just like that. Full speed looks like this. Just like that. And the second cut, false cut, what you do is you take your index finger and you grab 1/3 of the deck, bring it over, put it in your hand like that, kind of let it settle like you're holding a deck, and then you bring the middle portion and you put it on top of that portion, keeping a break, a pinky break, and then you set the top or the bottom of the pack down, and then put the middle right back on the middle and the top right back on top. So in slow motion it looks like top, middle, keeping a break, and then you set the bottom down and put the middle back on and the top back on. Full speed looks like this. And that is 2 fancy false cuts that do not change the order of the pack in any way. Just like that. I actually have a 3rd one, but this one's a little bit more complicated. And what you do with this one, you have the deck sitting on the table like you're getting ready to do a casino shuffle, riffle shuffle, and you take, it doesn't really matter which hand you use, but you take your index finger and you pick up about 1/3 of the pack, just a little bit, and then you take your other hand, like ring finger, and you pick up 1/3 of the pack. You take that 1/3 of the pack and you set it over here to the left side, and then you take the top of the pack and put it onto the right side. So now you have the top, middle, and bottom. And what you do is you take the bottom over top of the middle, set it down, and then complete the cut, which is the bottom and then the middle. And then you take that and you put it on top of the top portion, keeping a break the whole time. You slide it back and then cut the top back on top. Full speed looks something like this. And that is a completely false cut. It leaves the cards in the same order as they were when the cut started. Just like that. Explain it one more time. Top of the pack, 1 portion, 1/3. Middle of the pack, 1/3. Set the middle over here to the left side, top over to the right side. Take the bottom over top of the middle, complete the cut, and then come over here, keeping a break, and then put the top right back on top of the pack. And that is 3 fancy triple cuts. If you liked the video, come back, subscribe, drop a like. See you in the next video. What's up, guys? This video is going to be about bottom dealing. Bottom dealing is something that a lot of people really seem to enjoy, and mainly because you can get a portion of cards and keep them on the bottom, whatever ones you want, and then deal them at any time to any player on the table without a whole lot of stacking or setting up of the deck. And I'm going to try to demonstrate it for you here, because I'm not that practiced in it, but here we go. It's easier to do when you're first starting out if you only use half the pack to demonstrate it. So check this out. Here's what we do. We're going to take the aces and we're going to put them on the bottom of the deck face up. Just like this. And I'm going to deal 4 hands of cards, and I'm going to try to grab the aces for myself. So here we go. And that is bottom dealing right there. Now, this can be useful. Obviously, you never want to do it with the cards face up. You would want to do it with them face down. With enough practice, you'll be able to reduce what it sounds like when dealing them from the bottom, because you can hear a little bit of them coming out. But that's how you bottom deal, right here. To describe what I'm doing, let's try this. Let's go. Okay. What I'm doing is dealing a normal card off the top, and I'm using my middle finger here to reach in between my pointer finger and middle finger on the hand that's got the deck here, and I'm grabbing and sliding the bottom card out. Kind of like that. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm still pretending to slide a card over to deal, but I'm slipping that bottom card out from underneath with my ring finger here. And then bringing the top card back. But yeah, it's not that hard to do with this method. I'm just sliding the bottom card out. And obviously I got to get my fingers out of the way when I do that to let the card come out. The lighter you are, the less pressure you put, the quieter it is. Because if you put a lot of pressure, you can really hear it come out of the bottom. And that is how you bottom deal. It takes a lot of practice to be able to do it in a reasonable manner, and even more practice to do it quietly. But you sit, watch your favorite show, and just practice this over and over again, taking the bottom card out, and you'll eventually get good at it. What you have to practice too, though, is being able to put the bottom card in other hands. Like if you wanted them here, you would practice doing that. You know, putting them in a different stack each time. I'd say 10 hours of practice and you'll probably be pretty, like, real good at it, like professionally good at it. 10 hours of, like, dead time practice. Yeah. And that's the bottom deal. If you like the video, like, subscribe, you know, share it, come back for the next one. What's up, guys? This one's going to be a quick tutorial on how to control the top pack of cards with the overhand shuffle. It's in-jog. So here's how it works. You want to control the 4 deuces on the top of the pack. You have them on the top of the pack. You give them an overhand shuffle like this, you know, and they look shuffled in, but yet the 4 deuces are still on top of the pack. This is known as an in-jog. It's pretty simple to do. This is the simplest method. All you do is you have your 4 twos on top like this, And when you start the shuffle, you shuffle off one card and you in-jog it back toward you like that. And then you shuffle off the rest on top of that. And then you grab from where that in-jog card is here. You kind of push pressure on it, grab that top pack, and just throw it on top. That keeps the 4 deuces on top of the pack. You can also out-jog if you would like. I mean, there's other ways to do it. Out-jog a few cards and then do it with your fingers and throw on top, and you still have the 2s. Or top pack, top half, controlled. In-jog or out-jog. And that's how it works. You in-jog the cards, kind of like that. Grab where they're in-jogged, throw it on top, and you have the 4 deuces. You can make this look fancier with a better type of in-jog. You in-jog a few, and then you push with your thumb and grab extra cards, keeping a break. And then you can shuffle off till that break and do it that way, keeping the 4 2s on top. It's in-jog card control, controlling the top part of the pack. The rest of the deck gets mixed up. It's just the top of the pack that you're keeping in order. So this isn't a false shuffle. It isn't the same as a total false shuffle. It's mainly just to keep control of a small portion of cards. It's the in-jog. So one more time, what you do is you grab about half of the deck on the bottom. Your 4 2s are on top here. And what you do is you take one card and you in-jog it back like this. And then you shuffle off the rest on top of that. And then at the in-jog, right here, you push off some cards and you grab that pack and throw it on top. And that keeps the deuces or your top pack under control the whole time. And that is the in-jog overhand shuffle control. If you like the video, like, share, come back, watch the next one. Hey guys, this video is about the coin roll. This is a really cool one. I tend to believe that everyone wants to learn how to do this because it just looks so cool. It's a good stress reliever as well. And I'm going to explain how to do it. This is not something you're going to learn overnight. It does take a lot of work, a lot of practice to get this down. And here we go. First you want to start with the coin. Just kind of right here with your thumb on your index finger, and then what you want to do is kind of pull down with your index finger, push up with your thumb, and let it rest on top of your index finger. And then you want to use your middle finger, you want to raise it up and grab the edge of the coin and then pull down, and that'll make it stand straight up. You basically just keep pulling down with your middle finger and it'll flip over and lay on top of your middle finger. And then from here you do the same thing with your ring finger. You lift it up, you grab the edge, pull down, and it'll stand straight up. You just keep pulling down and it'll fall over on top. And then you repeat the process with the pinky finger. And this is the tricky part, because once it gets to the pinky finger, there's nowhere else for it to roll down. So what you have to do is take your thumb underneath your hand and grab the coin with your thumb, kind of like that, and then kind of pull it under your hand and rub it up your fingers back to starting position. So it looks like that. And then grab the coin, roll it up your fingers, and back to the starting position. So the tricky part is just getting the timing down. But if you go real slow and you just flip the coin up and let it rest, and then grab the edge with your middle finger and pull down till it flips over, and then grab the edge with your ring finger and pull down till it flips over, and then to your pinky, and then get the thumb to work. You kind of like it's this action here to get the coin from your pinky up to the starting position again. And then you just roll down your hand. As you go real slow and you one finger to the next, to the next, to the next, you'll eventually be able to speed it up until you're, you know, going full speed, kind of like that. This is a $50. You can do it with a quarter. It works the same way. Here's a quarter. Difference in size. But yeah, just like this. Gravity helps a lot in this process to get it to roll down your fingers. But yeah, this is a really cool one. You know, you're waiting in line, a long line, maybe at some kind of Halloween party or something. This is a interesting thing to be able to do. Helps pass the time. If you sit at a desk all day, you know, this is a good one. And it looks really cool. And that is the coin roll. Just like that. So yeah, sit down, practice it. You know, real slow. You start here, you just kind of flip it up. And then raise the next finger, and then flip it up. And then the next one, and just kind of keep pulling down till it flips, and then to the pinky. And then use your thumb to grab the coin and back to starting position. And till you get up to full speed with it. It's a really good one. So yeah, go ahead and practice that a little while and watch the next video. What's up, YouTube? This is the French drop tutorial, coin vanish. And this is what it looks like performed right here. And the coin vanishes. And then reappears however you would like it to reappear. So one more time, this is what it looks like performed. French drop, boom, vanish, it comes back just like that. So how it's done? How it's done is pretty simple, but there is a lot of points I would like to point out. How it's done is you hold the coin in between your thumb and fingers, just like this, and all you're doing is letting the coin fall down into your hand, into the finger palm position here. So this is what's happening, just like that. But you're coming in to grab the coin as well, covering up all the action of the coin falling into your hand with your four fingers here. So what happens is it looks like you grab the coin and you really don't. The coin stays over here in this hand in the finger palm position, ready to be revealed any way you would like it revealed. Now, a couple of key points. This is the oldest vanish probably known, and it really focuses on misdirection, because when you're looking at the coin in this hand, the spectator's looking at the coin in this hand. When you pretend to grab the coin with your other hand and move your hands apart, you have to focus on this hand and misdirect them to this one and make the coin vanish and then reappear. And that's the French drop. Hey guys, this tutorial is a fun one. It's a self-working one. It's just interesting, the things people come up with, and I want to show you what it is. So here's the performance of it. First, I'm going to deal out five hands of poker, 5-card draw, and see what I get, like an average person would that plays poker. So let's deal out 5 hands, just like this. Okay, and my hand I got, let's see what I got. I don't have anything. I don't have a pair. I don't have nothing. So the average person, you know, average deal. Now, a card shark, on the other hand, would first maybe take a gander, take a look through the pack, kind of find out where the cards are that he wants. Let's say, for instance, this time I want to get the Royal Flush and Hearts. I know where they're at in the pack, so I can get them for myself, and a card shark dealing the same 5 hands would reach into the pack one at a time and grab each of the Royal Flush and Hearts just like this, giving himself the Royal Flush and Hearts with the deal. That's Ace, King, Queen, Jack, and 10. And that's pretty impressive, right? Well, now let me show you how this works. This one is a fun one. I like it. You take your Royal Flush and Hearts, or Spades, or maybe the 4 Aces, or whatever the cards are that you want, the 5 of them, and you put them on top of the pack. Just like that. That's all you have to do to make this trick work. So what you do is, you explain that you're going to deal 5 hands, and just see what you're going to get from it, and you deal 5 hands, okay? And what you're doing is when you deal these 5 hands, you're taking the Ace of Hearts, the King of Hearts, the Queen of Hearts, the Jack of Hearts, and the 10 of Hearts, and placing them on the table, just like this. And then you're placing 4 cards on top of each. 1, 2, 3, and 4 cards on top of each of these cards. And, you know, you normally end up dealing yourself basically nothing. Now the trick is how you pick these up. What you want to do is take your packet, place it on top of the next packet over here, leaving 4 cards in between the 2 hearts, right? And then place it on top of the next, on top of the next, leaving the 4 cards in between each card, and on top of the next. Now, this packet of cards is stacked. It's ready to go. You deal the next 5 hands, 5 cards each, and you'll have the Royal Flush and Hearts for yourself. So this is now stacked and ready to go. You place it on top of the pack and you deal the same hands again. And when you do, you'll be dealing yourself the Royal Flush and Hearts. Just like this. Royal Flush and Hearts, Ace, King, Queen, Jack, and 10. This is a self-working way to make you look like a very experienced card shark without any skill at all. I mean, it's that easy. You just place the 5 cards you want on top of the pack and deal 2 sets of hands. And that's how this works. I find this one fun. I like it. There's multiple applications. You could come up with something like this and use this in a way to make a better trick out of it. So it's a useful tidbit or useful routine to know how to do, because you could stack the cards up differently and make 5 different hands. You can make it very nice. And with this, you could also use the fake shuffles and the fake cuts to keep the deck in order so that you can deal those hands and stuff. So you know, check this one out, have a look at it, and if you like the video, like, share, subscribe, come back and watch the next one. What's up, guys? And this is going to be a tutorial on a simple card force. Sometimes you need to be able to force a card onto the spectator so that you know what the card is beforehand, so that you can then, you know, you have a prediction written down or something, and to reveal it in a good way, a nice performing act. You need to be able to force a card sometimes, so you need to know what they're going to select before they select it. So here we go. If you were the spectator, I would say, ask me to stop anywhere. You say stop, I say right here. Okay, well, look at this card and memorize where you stopped at. Okay, they look at it, they memorize it. I can tell you right now without looking at the card that your card was the 3 of clubs, right? And how this card force works is simple. What you do is, while shuffling the pack or something, you glimpse the bottom card. Right now the bottom card is the 3 of hearts. So I have that glimpsed. And then I cut that into the middle of the pack and I hold a pinky break. So now I have the 3 of hearts with a pinky break in the middle of the pack. I say, well, ask me to stop anywhere. You say stop, I simply grab at the pinky break and lift up from there and force the 3 of hearts on you. So now you have selected the 3 of hearts, and I can choose to reveal it in any way I choose after that. And that is how this very simple card force works. I don't know the names of these card forces, but that one is a nice one. I really like that one because that one seems like one of the best. Like for instance, this card force, if you wanted to, you could say stop anywhere, stop here. Well, I'm going to force on you the ace of spades. And that's how this card force works. It seems very legit. There's, you know, no real techniques or moves, just a little pinky break is all. So if you like the video, drop a like, comment, share. I'm going to be trying to find new ways, new angles, new tricks. So come back for the next one and have a good day. What's up, guys? Today's video is a self-working card force. It's a real easy one to do. There's no little secret pinky breaks or no like special moves or anything. It's really easy to do. Let me demonstrate what it is first, okay? First you want to, we're going to get you a card. Here, let me turn some of the pack over like that, and then a little more of the pack over. Then a little more of the pack over, so it's all random. They're all front, face to back and everything. I'll turn the whole pack over now. So there's no telling which ones are facing what way now. So the first card facing down, we'll go ahead and make that your card. Let's see what we have here. First card facing down. You go ahead and look at that and remember it. You got it? Alright, now let me have a look at you here. I'm going to say that was you're thinking of the ace of clubs, right? Right. Well, how I do that, you got the ace of clubs, and so how you do that first is you want to get the card you want to force onto the spectator onto the top of the deck. The card you want them to have, you want to put on top of the pack, like the ace of clubs here. And once it's on top, everything else is self-working. There's no real secret moves. You just grab 1/4 of the pack and you turn it over, and then 2/4 of the pack and turn it over, and then 3/4 of the pack, turn it over, and then turn the whole pack over. And the first card facing down will be that top card, the ace of clubs, every time. And that's how simple this one is to do. It's pretty much self-working. All you have to do is, turn them over in the right way. So we have the ace of clubs on top, and we'll go through it one more time real slow. You take 1/3 of the pack, or a little packet, and you turn it over, right? And then you go down a little further in the pack, 2/3, and you turn it over. And then 3/3, and you turn it over. Then you turn the whole pack over. You turn over 4 packs of cards, the 4th one being the whole deck. And first card facing down will be that top card every time. In this case, it's the ace of clubs, the card we're forcing onto the spectator. And then once you're here, it looks like I mixed the cards up, putting them face to back, face to back, face to back. But really, only half the pack is face up and half the pack is face down. So all you got to do is, they get their card, you just turn over the half, and the deck's back in its original all face down position. So just to be sure that was clear, let me explain this again. You got the card on the top, ace of clubs. You turn over a little bit of the cards, then a little bit more, that's 2, a little bit more, that's 3 times, and then you turn the whole pack over for the 4th time, and then the first card facing down will be that ace of clubs that was on top of the pack. And then to square this all up, you just turn over 1/2 and square the deck up, and you got a deck that's all in the same order. And that is a self-working card force that is very easy to do with no little secret pinky breaks or anything else. So if you liked the video, drop a like, share it, press that little bell notification, come back and watch the next video. What's up YouTube? Today's tutorial is going to be a 4-ace reveal. A very fancy way to reveal 4 aces. It's a nice one. Have a look at it. It looks something like this right here. That is a 4-ace reveal. And how it's done, let's explain. Here's what you need. You need the 4 aces on top, just like this, to start this performance. And then what you do is, when you cut the deck in 2 here, you drag the top card, this ace here, I'll put it face up so you can see it. When you cut the deck in 2, you put your index finger of your left hand on top and drag that top ace over to the other packet. Kind of like that. So now you got 1 ace over here, 3 aces over here. You push this ace out with your other index finger and then tap it and flip it up. Then you set the packs down, grab 1 ace from each side and put them up like this. And then you got 1 ace left here, and what you do when you pick this packet up, you push it out with your index finger and then tap it out and off. So it looks like, what it looks like you do is cut into the deck, finding 1 ace, getting that ace, and then finding 1 ace in the middle like that, and then flip that other ace out, and that is the 4-ace reveal. And if you, at full speed, it looks pretty impressive, as long as you don't screw it up. It requires a lot of practice to do this right, but once you get it right, it looks really nice. Yeah, so that's a 4-ace reveal. A really fancy, nice way to do it, just like this. And you have the 4 aces revealed. So if you liked the video, come back, share it, drop a like, subscribe, press the little bell so you get instant notifications whenever I upload a new video. What's up YouTube? I have one for you today that I learned while watching a Jeff McBride interview. I think it was World's Greatest Magic or something. During an interview he performed this illusion, and I learned it simply by watching him perform it and then figuring out how it's done myself. But I'm going to go ahead and explain to you how it's done, but first let me show you what it is. This is the illusion. Right there, that's what he did. I added some stuff to it, you know, making the card disappear and come back. But the basic illusion that he performed was that. It was a card production. So I'm going to tell you how it's done today. Basically, you have a block of cards, like say 4 of them, like I got here. And this is how it's done. You take the 4 cards and you palm them. Kind of like this. And then with your pointer finger, middle finger, and ring finger, you take your middle finger, put it behind the palmed cards like this, and then let them pop out. Kind of square them up, make sure they're square, and then flip the whole pack up as 1 card. That's 4 cards flipped up as 1 card. And then you kind of take your fingers and slide this card off at the same time pushing the other 3 cards back into palm position. And then you drop this card. And then you produce the next card. Kind of square them up, show them as one.
Morning.
Good morning. And then do the same action here and drop this card. And then go to the next card. Flip it up, show it as one, and drop the next card. And that is a card production that Jeff McBride performed at some interview, and I think on The World's Greatest Magic, and that's how it's done. If you like the video, go down there, press the subscribe button, hit the little bell to get instant notifications for whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, and as always, practice. Hey guys, what's up? If you've never been to my channel before, go down there, hit the subscribe button, press the little bell next to it so you get instantly notified whenever I upload a new video. The previous video that I made was a Jeff McBride illusion that I picked up from The World's Greatest Magic years ago, and I added something to the end of it, but in that video it wasn't very clean. It didn't look very nice, so I'm making this video today to clean it up a little bit, try to make it look a little better, and I'm gonna go ahead and give the tutorial on it. It is a old school card vanish that is heavy in technique. It's a very technique based driven illusion. So if you like the heavy technique type illusions, this one's for you, man. So check it out. Here, I'm gonna try to show it. Here we go. Here's the demonstration. You make the card vanish and then come back. Here, let me slow that down. I kind of went too fast. Let me do that again. You make the card vanish, show both hands empty, and then it comes back, kind of like that. Card's vanished, show both hands empty, and then the card comes back. It's busy out today, it's Saturday, but there's 3 main techniques in this. I'm gonna go through them slowly and describe how it's done. So the first technique, what you're doing is you're holding the card in your left hand with your thumb and 3 middle fingers here, and you're reaching over with your right hand to grab the card long ways, as if you're squeezing it to grab it. And when you do, that covers up the action of you taking the card and putting it into a rear palm position here, just like this. The palm, the front end of the card is just above the pinky here, and the top of the card is about mid-thumb, kind of like that, in a rear palm position. So when you grab it, you're palming the card in that position. You're brushing the right hand, showing it empty. Both hands look empty at this point. And then you're taking your right hand, dropping it down to where the palmed card is, kind of placing the card there, using your left thumb to hold the card there, and then showing your left hand empty while having the palm card held there, quickly like. And then you're switching, third technique here, you're switching the card over back to the left hand and a weird like thumb crease kind of palm thing, and then you're making the card reappear. So it goes bam, rear thumb, palm, as you can see here, and then you're switching it over to a strange butterfly palm kind of thing, and then back over to the left hand and a crease palm, and then you're revealing the card. And that is how this one's done. It's boom, 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 and then revealed. So yeah, I hope you guys are having a good day. Come back, watch the next video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. What's up YouTube? Today's tutorial is going to be the one-handed cut and the one-handed triple cut. If you haven't pressed the subscribe button yet, go ahead and go down there and press the subscribe button. Click the bell next to it if you want to get instantly notified whenever I upload a new video. Let's get right into it. This is what a one-handed cut looks like. Just like that. Right there. That's a one-handed cut. How do you do a one-handed cut? Well, you hold the deck with your pinky, ring finger, and middle finger on one side of the pack, thumb on the other side, right about in the middle, index finger under the pack, finger curled like that, and then you release the pressure with your thumb over here to drop half the pack into your hand, like that. Use your index finger to push that pack up, past, and on top of the bottom, just like that, and that's a one-handed cut. Just like that. Now, to do the triple cut, one-handed triple cut, is the same hand position, except you drop less cards, push that up, and then kind of put your finger over top of the pack, your thumb over top of the pack like this, drop a few more, and you get this triangle shape, and then push that up, and put both packs on top, just like that. So the one-handed triple cut looks a lot like this here. One-handed triple cut. One-handed cut. One-handed triple cut. Just like that. And that's how you do a one-handed cut and a one-handed triple cut. Just like that. One-handed cut, one-handed triple cut. Just like that. Get that triangle shape everybody likes to see. Put them both on top. If you like the video, like I said, press the subscribe button. Come back and watch the next one. You guys have a good day. What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be showing another card force. This one's one of the first ones I've learned. It's pretty easy to do. It's not my favorite. If you've never been to the channel before, go ahead, go down there, press the subscribe button, hit the little bell next to it to get instantly notified whenever a new video is uploaded. Let's get right into it. I ask you to tell me to stop anywhere. You say stop here. I say, okay, you stopped at this card here. Let's go ahead and look at that. And without seeing the card, I can tell you that you stopped at the King of Spades. Right? Now, this one is pretty easy to do. It's got a little sleight to it. It's kind of fun. So let me show you how that's done. First, you hold the deck in your right hand or left hand, depending on how you would like to do it. Just reverse the directions. But you hold the deck in your right hand. You put your index finger up under the deck curled like that. Thumb on the edge, top corner edge of the cards. And your three fingers on this side with two of them hanging up over the top. And then you riffle down until they say stop. And when they say stop, you reach in with your left hand and grab that top packet of cards. Hold pressure on the top card here with your pinky and ring finger of your right hand. And pull that top card off and let it fall into the middle of the pack. Kind of like that. So where they stopped at, you now have the King of Spades. I'll go through that one more time real quick. You hold the deck in your left hand, finger curled underneath, thumb against the top corner, your right hand fingers on the back of the top card here, your pinky and ring finger, your middle fingers just kind of sitting on the pack. You ruffle down until they say stop. When they do, you reach in with your left hand, trying not to grab the top card with your fingers over here. And when you pull the top pack away, you slide the top card off and into the middle, and they have now selected your card that you wanted them to select, the King of Spades. And that's how this card force goes. It's a nice one. So if you like the video, drop a like, maybe share the video, come back, watch the next video. Hey guys, what's up? This manipulation here, this card control technique, is a pretty popular one. It's been used by pretty much every famous card manipulator, card control enthusiast out there. And I'm going to show you how to do it today. But before I do, if you're new here or you haven't subscribed yet, go down there, press that subscribe button, hit the little bell next to it so you get instantly notified whenever I upload a new video. And let's get right into it. This one is losing the 4 aces in the pack. You take the first ace, you riffle a little few cards, put it in there, a few more, putting the aces in 4 different spots of the deck, just like this. And then square them up, give the deck a cut and a shuffle, just like this, losing the 4 aces in the pack. But what really has happened is we have controlled the 4 aces straight back to the top just that quickly. So let me show you how it's done. This is how this is done, starting off with 4 aces. You riffle. What you want to do is ignore the bottom half of the pack. You don't use the bottom half of the pack in this technique. What you do is, in the top half, you riffle a few cards down, put the first ace. A few more, put the first ace, or second ace, a few more, third ace, and a few more, fourth ace. You've got all 4 aces in 4 different spots of the pack, as you can see here. But the bottom half is relatively untouched by the aces. As you can see, they're all in the top. When you square these up, what you want to do is you want to push on one corner with your index finger of your left hand and push them back into the pack, kind of like this, so that they're sticking out over here diagonally through. And then you use your 3 fingers on your right hand to square that up, and when you do, what happens is you've pushed the aces through the pack in such a way that they are now sticking out of the back of the pack, all 4 aces right here. Use your finger to kind of push back that bottom half, or at least a little bit of that bottom half, and you'll see the bottom half sticking out with the 4 aces now. So what you do is you just grab that bottom half and strip the 4 aces out with it, just like that, and cut the 4 aces straight to the top of the pack. Boom, one move. And then the shuffle, you just make sure to leave the 4 aces over here on top. And you have controlled all 4 aces right back to the top of the pack. So again, what you do is you don't touch the bottom of the pack, and you riffle just a few cards off, put the first ace, a few more cards, second ace, a few more cards, third ace, and a few more cards, and the 4th ace. This leaves all 4 aces protruding from the pack, from different spots in the deck, in the top half of the deck. Then when you go to square them up, you push all your pressure on one corner of the aces here, making the other side of the aces come out this way, and you push down a little further than the top corner of the pack here with this to square up. And then when you square them up with your fingers over here, the 4 aces now protrude out of the back half of the pack. The spectator doesn't see this because you have the deck angled in such a way that they won't see it. Plus your hands over at this point. Use your finger to push that bottom half out to get ready to perform this strip cut. You grab the 4 aces in that bottom half, strip the 4 aces out, cut them straight back to the top of the pack, just like this. And that's how this little card control technique brings the 4 aces from 4 different spots in the deck straight back to the top of the pack. A little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, leaving the bottom alone, and then you just square them up kind of like that, real quick like, and you have the 4 aces sticking out the back. You do the little bottom cut, strip the 4 aces out, put them right back on top of the pack, and boom, all 4 aces are in your control at the top at all times. Like I said, if you liked the video, go down there, press the subscribe button, come back, watch the next video. Today we're talking about the Hindu Shuffle, the Hindu top card control shuffle. I played it in a video, I believe it's the second video on the channel, with the double lift routine. It's in that video. I'll link it up at the top. But I'm going to go through just the Hindu Shuffle top card control all by itself in this video. So here we go. Top card, King of Hearts here. We want to keep that card on top, or we want to bring it to the top. Let me show you how it's done with the Hindu Shuffle. King of Hearts on top, we give the deck a Hindu Shuffle like this, mixing the cards up, just like that. And we keep the King of Hearts on top of the deck, just like that. Now, if we want to bring it to the top, let's say for instance this is a selected card from a spectator. They grab it, they look at it, they memorize it, and you want them to put it back into the pack somewhere. You say, okay, tell me to stop. They say stop. They put the King of Hearts back into the pack right here. And then you do the Hindu Shuffle and shuffle off the rest of the cards, losing their card into the pack. Just like that. But what you really did was Hindu Shuffle it straight to the top of the deck, like that. Now this Hindu Shuffle card control is pretty easy to do. Let me explain how this works. We've got the King of Hearts on top like that. I'll put it face up. And when we Hindu Shuffle, we drop this packet in the hand and we shuffle off just like this, right? Looks like we're losing the king in the pack, but what we're really doing is bringing the king straight to the top of the deck like that. And this is how it works. When you begin the Hindu Shuffle, you drop the king and then you use your thumb and finger, middle finger, the left hand here in this case, and you grab that king right here like this and you shuffle off the cards, holding on to that break where the king is, just like that. And then you shuffle off till you get to that break, and when you get to that break you simply take the last card and boom, king is on top of the deck. That's how the Hindu Shuffle works. If you have them say stop and they put their card back in, you simply from this position here do exactly the same thing, grabbing the top packet of cards from this pile with your middle finger and thumb of your left hand and shuffle off with the Hindu Shuffle, and lo and behold you bring the king straight to the top of the pack. And that is the Hindu top card control. Looks pretty natural, shuffling the cards, but what you're really doing is just keeping the king on top, or the top packet of cards, depending on what you need to shuffle for. Because if you wanted to, you could grab a hold of, 20 cards with this method of shuffling and just grab all of them and keep all 20 cards in order and then throw them back on top of the deck, just like that. And that's the Hindu Shuffle top card control. If you like the video, subscribe, drop a like, come back, watch the next video. What's up guys, I'm going to show you a neat little trick with a deck of cards today. I don't know the name of it. I'm going to call it Aces Up. It's self-working. And what you do is you have a spectator take your deck of shuffled cards and cut four piles onto the table with it. So the spectator cuts 4, try to make them somewhat even, not too big. And then you explain to the spectator that, he's going to shuffle the cards up and we're going to try to find the aces. So you have him pick each pile up one at a time and deal them onto the other piles until the pile's all the way dealt out, and then go to the next pile and the next pile until all the piles have been dealt out onto the table, just like this.
All the piles are dealt onto the table. What the spectator does not know is he has already found the aces. And you simply tell him to flip over the top card of each pile. And all 4 aces have been found. But not only that, not only did he find all 4 aces, he also found all 4 kings. Just like that. Now let's go over how this is done. It's self-working, like I said, so it's real easy. All you have to do to make this work is put the kings and aces on the bottom of the deck in this order. Kings, all 4 of them. Aces, all 4 of them. Kings on top of aces, just like this, and then put that onto the bottom of the pack. The deck is, or the trick is ready to go with those on the bottom. It's a nifty little trick. You can just put all 4 aces on the bottom, and this will work with just only the 4 aces. And you pretend to shuffle, leaving the little stack of 8 cards here on the bottom when you shuffle, and then you have them separate the piles into 4. This being the bottom pile with the ace and the king on it, aces and the kings on it, and then you have them do all this dealing here just to make the deck appear to be extremely mixed up, when really the bottom cards are still there on that pile the whole time. And then once they do the last pile with the aces on the bottom and they deal them all off, when they get down to the bottom of the stack, when there's only about 8 cards left, like now, what they're doing is simply placing the 4 cards where they need to be on the packs. So now you have the 4 aces. Boom. And that can be all you do, is just put the 4 aces on the bottom of the deck and get to this point. But if you want to make it a little more clever, you can add the 4 kings in. Or even take this trick to a further level and maybe mix the cards up in a certain way so that all the piles are in a certain order when they get done doing this. It's up to you. If you like the trick, hit the subscribe button, drop a like, come back, watch the next video. Have a good day. What's up, guys? So I'm looking through this book here, More Self-Working Card Tricks by Carl Folves. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I found a cool one. I want to demonstrate it today and do the tutorial for it. And what we're going to do here is we're going to take a deck of cards and we're going to mix them up, face up into face down cards, just like this. Mixing them up, face down, all of that good stuff. We're going to give them a shuffle, face up into face down, and then give them a cut. But snap your fingers and all the cards go face down except for the 4 aces here in the middle. And that's pretty cool. Now you can make this trick a little better, and I'm going to go through that example right now. Alright, so what we're going to do, this is the little bit enhanced version. We're going to mix the deck up, face up into face down cards, just like this. And then we're going to give the deck a shuffle, just like this, face up into face down. And a cut, just like that. Snap my fingers, and they all go back to being face down, except for the 4 aces and this other card that says they're marked. What does that mean? Well, let's look at the aces. Oh, they've got blue backs. They've changed colors. Now, this is a pretty cool effect. I like it. You know, go out, get Carl Folves books. He's got a couple of them. I'll link it in the description. So let's get into the tutorial. So for the first original version of this trick, all you have to do for preparation is put the 4 aces on the bottom of the pack, face up, just like this. So you have 4 aces on the bottom of the pack face up, and you begin. and you start to shuffle. You pull the deck apart with your left hand, right hand. You take your left hand packet and you turn it face up, and then riffle off 1/3 on each hand. Change each side, riffle off 1/3, change sides again, and you have 1/3. And then you flip them up by putting your thumb underneath and rolling them over just like this. And when you get here with the two halves back in this position again, you take your right hand packet and flip it over one more time. And this will leave you with the 4 aces face down on top of face up cards. Okay, and these are all face up. So what you're doing is shuffling all these face up cards into these face up cards except for the 4 aces. And when you shuffle them in, you just want to keep the 4 aces on top of that little pack, giving it the illusion of face up into face down, but really it's just face up into face up with 4 aces facing down. And then you square that up, and you go ahead and give it a cut, putting those 4 face down aces in the middle of the pack, and you turn the pack over one more time. So now all the cards are facing the same direction except for the 4 aces in the middle. And that is how you do that the easy way. Now if you want to put the little added version onto it, what you do is you take the 4 red backed aces out of the pack, set those to the side, you won't need those, and you get yourself 4 blue backed aces. And I would suggest using a double backed card, you know, a card that has 2 backs on it for this part. But I don't have one of those, and I didn't take the time to make one, so I just put "they're marked" on it. And you put that with the 4 blue aces on the bottom face up, with it at the very bottom. And there's a reason for that. And then you put that at the bottom of the pack and get ready to do the shuffle. So you're here, and you're going to mix them all up, face up into face down, turning the left pack over, and then doing that, rolling them up, just like this. You turn this pack over in one swoop, and this is why you have this extra joker here, because the aces have a blue back. So if you have those there, and you could obviously see that it's a different color deck. So you got the joker there with "they're marked" on top of those. So what you're really having here is 4 aces with the joker right here, and then the rest of the cards are all face up. But it gives the illusion of being face down into face up. And then you finish by shuffling off, making sure to leave that side on top, square it up, give the deck a cut, putting those into the middle of the pack. And then when you snap your fingers and spread the cards out, you'll have the 4 aces up with that extra card saying "they're marked." And then you reveal that the aces have blue backs. Now, I personally believe that if this was a double backed card here, just to offset the part here, if you had a double backed card just like this, and you did the shuffle and finished the trick off like this, and this was double backed, you would still have the 4 aces there, and they would have blue backs without the joker. And that's how you do this ace reveal, mixing the cards up. It's a pretty good one. I like it. I'm going to link the description to Carl Falb's book in the. I'm going to link Carl Falb's book in the description. If you liked the video, hit the subscribe button, drop a like, press that little bell. Have a good day. What's up, guys? Tonight's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to demonstrate what is widely known as the best rubber band magic trick, at least in the United States. And I brought me a nice tea
takes 2 rubber bands. You take the rubber bands like this, and you interlink them in your fingers, just like this. Now they are completely and totally interlinked. You can't get them out without removing one from your fingers. But if you do this, they come right apart. It appears completely impossible to get the rubber bands to come apart. But with just a little bit of, they come right apart. I'm just going to go over the magic trick real quick. The rubber bands you would prefer to have are a little bit thinner than these. They look more like string and less like tape. You want to hold the rubber bands like this. You want to make sure you got good grip of them. And you're going to loop them on each thumb like this. You really are intertwining the rubber bands. The magic step happens when you come out here like this. And then you come back and you blow and they come apart. I just showed the magic step very slowly and you probably still didn't even notice it. That's how it goes. You intertwine. You'll notice the rubber band is around my pointer finger on my right hand and pointer finger on the left hand. Okay? When you come out like this to show that they are connected and won't come apart, that's the secret move. What you're really doing, now watch this rubber band closely, you're letting that rubber band switch to the middle finger. Now your index finger is free. You take your index finger and come up under the rubber band here. And then you pull apart. And when you pull apart, you let the rubber band come off of your middle finger. And they become unentwined. And then you put your middle finger back on top. What you're doing, when you come out, the rubber band switches fingers, your pointer finger comes up under here, comes back, pulls apart, releasing the rubber band with this finger, and the rubber bands come apart. So at full speed, it looks something like that. You like the video? Remember to drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe. See you later. The snap change. Video is the snap change. According to Wikipedia, it was invented by a guy named Ed Marlo, born Edward Mikowski, in Chicago. This guy has over 60 books, and he's contributed over 2,000 tricks to the field of magic. His most famous title is The Cardigan. He coined the phrase, and Revolutionary Card Technique. He's also wrote several private manuscripts, like the Riffle Shuffle systems and patented false shuffles. They're extremely rare, and everybody's after them, I guess. Edward Marlo was a beast. I don't feel like I've done justice to his trick today in this video, to be totally honest with you. It's the snap change. I went through a quick tutorial just to show you how to do it. So without further ado, let's get right to it. This is what the snap change looks like. Just like that. You're actually holding the bottom corner with your middle finger, and this one's kind of waiting. And what you're doing is that snap motion. Now to practice it, you want to go the snap change. You take your middle finger, place it here at the bottom corner of the 2 cards. Once you're here, this finger's waiting to grab this second card on the back here. You're making the snapping motion, dragging the ace off, grabbing the one behind it in this position. It's very angle sensitive. You can't really move your hand. People will see the cards and to cover up that sound or help cover up that sound while you're doing the trick. This is what the snap change looks like. And then you have 1 card left. Just like that. Now how is that done? And you're here. This is a snap change in its completed position, and you've got the ace of spades back behind your hand here. I like to have this assortment of messy cards so that I can drop that ace of spades off as the cleanup, and it probably won't be noticed. And that's the snap change. If you like the video, please go down there, subscribe, drop a like, share the video. We'll
What's up, guys? Today I'm going to just go over basic coin palming and a neat little vanish that I came up with somewhere. It's probably got a name, I don't know, but I'm going to go over it with some basic coin palming. So here we go. The most basic and probably oldest way to palm a coin is right here in the middle of the hand, in between the fat of the thumb here and the pinky area over here. So like here and here, and you just palm the coin. That's probably the oldest and most basic way to palm a coin, is in this method here. You take it, you toss the coin to the other hand, boom, coin didn't go. With a lot of practice, you can look really natural palming a coin like this, and no one will be able to tell that you even have a coin palmed in your hand. Palm number 2 is the finger palm position. I believe I brought it up in a previous video, and that's having the coin right here in between like the knuckles and the first joint of the finger here, and that's palming a coin kind of like Spider-Man finger palm position here. And that is finger palming right there. Boom, coin vanishes, coin reappears. So you've got the palm, normal palm here, and then finger palm. And I want to show a coin vanish that's got a totally different kind of palm. It probably has a name. I don't know where I learned it from. As far as I know, I made it up. But here we go. Here's what it looks like. You take the coin, you place it into the hand, and it vanishes. I'm holding the coin here right now. Let me show you how far this can go, though. You take it here, here, and then you're brushing the hand off. And now I've got the coin palmed back here in between the fat of my hand here and my thumb. And the coin is just kind of squeezed in there. And I'm brushing the hand off to show it empty. And it starts like this, into the hand, and then I move the coin all the way back in between the thumb and the fat of the hand here. The vanish works this way, though. What you're doing is you're taking the coin and placing it into this hand, and then you're moving your fingers over to grab the coin. Well, when you move your fingers over to grab the coin, what you're doing is you're using your middle finger and your thumb to literally grab the coin right out of the hand back here in this position. And full speed, it looks kind of like that. And you're pointing at the hand and looking at the hand when you do it. And then boom, boom, and you move it all the way back. Let me try to do it this way so you can see this. All the way back to the thumb position. It comes back and then back. So, woom, woom. Just like that. And you've got it palmed in between the thumb and fingers here. It looks this way. That's really slow, unpracticed. You could make this look a lot smoother if you were to practice it some. But that's a lot of what it would look like and what it is. That's the actual how to do it. It's just a matter of getting the timing down. But you don't have to take it all the way back to this palm position. All you have to do, it really, is move it in between your finger and thumb here and point, and it vanishes, and then you can make it reappear however you'd like. But the coin vanish looks a lot like that, you know? And there's the coin. Anyway, this is coin palming, basic palming here, and then the finger palm position when throwing a coin over. And then just a little coin vanish I made up, or learnt from somewhere, seen somewhere. So yeah, check out this coin magic. If you like the video, subscribe, press like, press the little bell to get instantly notified whenever I upload a new video. And take it easy. Alright, so I'm going to teach you how to play a simple gambling game known as 5-card draw today. This is probably one of the easiest and simplest gambling games you can play. So let's get right into it. Before the game starts, in a gambling game like this, there's what is known as an ante. So everybody has to put like a $5 chip in the middle, in the pot, before the hands are even dealt, in order to be included in the game. So everybody at the table has to put their ante in, and then the deal starts. And first, someone deals, right? They shuffle the cards like that, and they always have the person to the right of them cut the cards to prevent cheating or stacking in the deck. And then they deal each player in the game 5 cards, 5-card draw. So we're going to say there's 3 players. Each player gets 5 cards, just like this. And then each player picks up their hand and has a look at it. And this is the first round of betting. Usually the person to the left of the dealer is the first one to bet. Okay, he decides if he wants to check. Check means he doesn't bet anything, and it just goes on to the next person to decide whether he wants to check or bet. Okay, so everybody looks at their hands, and then this guy decides what he's going to bet. So let's look at his hand and see what he might bet. Wow, he's got a pretty decent hand. See, here's a pretty nice hand. He's got a pair of aces, right? Or he's got 3 cards into a straight flush. It depends on what he wants to try to go for, what hand he thinks he's going to get. He can either stick with the pair of aces and discard these 3, or he can stick with the 3 cards into a straight flush and discard these 2. Ordinarily, I would probably keep the aces and discard these 3, but because of this demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and try to get the straight flush. So he wants 2 cards. Nobody knows that yet. He decides what he wants to bet, and then he bets. So let's say I'm going to go for this straight flush. I'm going to put a nice bet in. I'm going to bet like 50 bucks or something. Next guy, he looks at his cards, he sees what he wants. He's got almost a whole straight right here. 5, 6, 7, 8. He only needs one card to complete a straight. So he only needs 1 card. So this guy bets 50 bucks. This dude here has to call, fold, or raise. Fold means put your cards down, you're out of the game. Call means he bet 50, so he's got to put 50 in there. And whatever the ante is. Or no, he's got to put 50 in there. Yeah, okay. So with this, he only needs 1 card. He might get his straight. Maybe he'll call. Okay. And then I got a pair of jacks, so I'll go ahead and call to stay in for the next hand. After everybody's done with that round of betting, then it's time to draw your cards. So this dude here wants 2 cards. And just set those to the side in the middle. Keep those 3. This guy here, he wanted 1 card. So that goes in the discard pile. And I'm going to want 3 cards. And that goes in the discard pile. Now, so this guy wanted 2, so he gets 2. This guy wanted 1, he gets 1. I wanted 3. And this is where the next round of betting starts for this game. There's only 2 rounds of betting and 5-card draw. So let's see what we have here. Okay, this guy is going to be leading the bet. He was going for that straight flush. He did not get his straight flush. He almost got a flush though. So basically this hand is crap. He didn't get nothing. He'd have to bluff if he wants to try to win the pot. Because he doesn't have anything. He has high card ace. Is what he has. Okay. This guy here, he did not get his straight. He just got another ace to replace the one he discarded. So he's got nothing, and he'd have to bluff. So both of these guys each have high card ace over here. which means I'm the dealer and I come out with the winning hand with a pair of jacks. I have a pair of jacks. I almost have a straight. So we'll say this guy folds, and I'm left to win the pot. And that's how you play 5-card draw. Right there. I can go through it one more time, maybe make it more so you know you don't got to replay the video if you're really trying to learn this. But one guy shuffles the cards kind of like this. He makes sure they're mixed. The dude to the right cuts the pack to prevent cheating. Each player gets 5 cards. Well, each player antes first. That $5 chip in the middle. That way the pot has money in it. And then each player gets 5 cards. And it starts over. Let's see what this guy's got. Let's see. He's got... well, he don't really have anything. Okay, this guy over here has got... yeah... doesn't really have anything. And I have almost a whole straight. So I got 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 4 cards into a straight. So the first round of betting begins. Usually starts with this game. Usually starts over here with the dude on the left of the dealer. So he would probably check, and then it would move over to this guy, and he might bet something, or he might check. Let's say he checks. But he might want to appear strong. He might want to try to win the pot with a bluff. That's the whole idea of poker. So he might put a big bet in, hoping to scare us off. But we'll say he checks, and then the bet comes to me. I got almost a whole straight. So I could throw a big bet in there and try to scare the other guys off just to win the ante in the pot. Because right now there's $15 in the pot with $5 chip in the middle and a 3-player game. So we'll say I bet 20. If I bet 20 here, now it goes back around to them. This guy has to call, bet, or fold. So we'll say he calls and he calls. And then we decide that that round of betting's over. So now it's time to draw our cards, 5-card draw. So this guy has, well, basically nothing. But he could go for a straight here. I mean, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, you know. But I'm going to go ahead and just say that he wants to keep these 3 cards and discard 2 to the discard pile. This guy over here, he wants to keep these 2 cards, the jack, queen of clubs, and he wants to discard 3. And I would like to discard just the 1 and hope that I get my straight. And then we get our cards, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and I get my 1. And the next round of betting begins. Starting with the guy over here. Let's see if he got anything. He did not get anything. He's got a high card queen. This hand sucks, so he checks. This guy comes up over here. He doesn't have anything. He almost got a flush. So he doesn't want to bet. All he's got is high card queen as well. So he checks. And then it's back to me. Let's see if I got my straight. I did not get my straight. I got a high card 10. But I put a bet in on the first hand. So if I wanted to try to bluff it, I would bet real big right now and hope that both of them fold. But everybody checked. If I wanted to try to win the pot by getting them to fold, I would simply drop another bet in and hope they fold. So that's what I'll do. I'll bet another 20. And this guy folds. This guy calls my bluff, puts 20 in. And then we reveal our hands, and that dude wins the pot because he's got a higher card than me. His is a queen, mine is a 10. And that is how 5-card draw is played. Just like that. 2 rounds of betting, an ante, and 1 draw. That is 5-card draw. Yeah, so sit down with a friend, maybe learn how to play 5-card draw today. You like the video, go down there, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell for instant notifications whenever I upload a new video. You have a good day. What's up, guys? Today's video is going to be a color change, the Erdnase color change. Erdnase was the author of a book called Artifice, Ruse and Subterfuge at the Card Table, a treatise on the science and art of manipulating cards. What you want to do first is just make sure that there are two different colors on the bottom of the deck, like this, red and black. When you put your hand over it to cover it, what you're doing is pushing that top card forward just a little bit, just enough so you can use the palm of your hand here to contact this card and slide it out. When you cover up, you push that card forward just a tad, and then you slide the card underneath of it out behind the cover of your palm, up and over, and then back in. And as it's coming back in, you're using this finger to square that card up to the deck. So you're here, you're squaring that card up and bringing the other card in to produce the color change, the Erdnase color change. I don't have the book. I'm probably gonna order the book. If you like the video, drop a share, a like, subscribe. What's up, YouTube? I came out to the park today, show you a little coin trick. It's a pretty good coin trick. It does require skill and practice, but it's the kind of coin trick that could lead up to more classic and professional acts, like actually pulling a rabbit out of a hat, like a top hat routine. So let me get right into this coin trick and grab a coin. Just like this, hand empty, and a coin comes from nowhere. And then you throw the coin away, and then the coin comes back. You can throw the coin away, reach into thin air, and grab the coin right back. And this is a pretty good one. In the I remember reading it somewhere. I think it might have been one of the Houdini books. But this frame of reference for that performance, it was a top hat. And what you would do is you would palm 6 or 7 coins in your left hand, and you would grab your top hat with the coins palmed right here in your fingers, and you'd hold your top hat, and you'd take this coin and you'd pluck it out of thin air and throw it into the top hat. And when you did, you would release a coin from this hand, and it would drop into the top hat and make the sound that you threw the coin in there. And then you would just repeatedly do that. You would throw the coin into the top hat, drop one from this hand, reach into the air and grab another one. Take that one and throw it into the top hat and release another one. But the technique for this is pretty neat. It does require practice, and you have to watch angles for it, because the wrong angle and you'll flash the coin. Everybody will see the coin. So it does require a good angle, but you can reduce the flash, you know, depending on where your hand position is. But what you're doing here, so you're holding the coin, in my case the right hand, index and middle finger, and I like to kind of flip it up so it can be seen like that. And when you flick the coin or throw the coin away, you're really just taking your fingers back, placing the coin in between your thumb and palm here, straight across like that, and grabbing the coin just like that, and holding it with your thumb against your palm. At the right angle, it looks like there's nothing in your hand. And then when you reach into the air to get it, you reach up and grab that coin right back out of the palm position, like this. Boom, boom, kind of like that. And that's how you would grab coins out of thin air, throw them in a bucket or a hat, one after another, and it would seem like you're just grabbing coins out of air and collecting them in a hat or a bucket or a bag. Then you'd get another one and throw it in. You know, you would palm 6 or 7 in this hand, you'd grab your bucket, and every time you would go to flick one or throw one into the bucket, you would simply release one from this hand and it would clink down into the bucket like you threw this one. But really all you're doing is using one coin here in this position. There really is no tips to practice this, except I would say take a coin and just hold it there for a while without even doing the rest of the technique. Just take a coin and get used to holding one right here, you know. And once you get pretty used to or comfortable holding a coin in this position, because it's awkward to do so, then you got to start moving your fingers in the right way to be able to grab that coin in between your pointer and middle finger and steal it out of the palm. And then the other part to practice would be just slowly just placing it, getting the grip with your thumb and your palm, and being able to hold it there and release it with your fingers, so you end up in this position here. And then once it's pretty easy to do, once you get, like, you put enough practice in, this becomes a pretty simple technique. But it's pretty cool on just grabbing a coin out of thin air, throwing it away, you know, reaching up, grabbing another coin. And yeah, and this coin routine, dropping the coins into the bucket or top hat, could easily lead up to the classic rabbit out of the hat trick. So yeah, check this coin trick out. I think it's a pretty good one. I haven't seen a lot of people who have demonstrated this one, so it should be good. Drop a like, subscribe, have a nice day.
Okay guys, let's talk the up the ladder false cut. You can find it in this book here on page 78. It's called The Gambler's False Cut. What you just saw was 2 modified versions of what's in that book. And once again, this is what they look like. That's version number 1. And this is version number 2. The first version is pretty much the same as the one in the book. It's only done with a couple of less cuts. So what you do is you take the bottom pack, about half the pack out, bring it around, put it on top, out jogged. And then from this out jogged packet on top here, you then take a little bit of it, the bottom of it out, and bring it up and line it up with the rest of the pack down here. And you hold a break with your thumb. And then you take what's left sticking out and you put it on top of that break. Then you take the entire top of the deck and put it back on top, out jogged, and repeat the process. You take 1 packet and then 2 packets, and the deck stays in its original order. So it goes, the bottom gets put on the top, out jogged, so the top part of the deck is right there at the bottom. And then you do 1, you line it up, 2, keeping a break, and then you take the whole top of the pack, put it back on top. Right now you could finish the cut. You could square it up and the cut could be done. But you just repeat the process and do the same thing. And then the deck remains in its order from start to finish. Kind of like that. Now you want to try to make the out jog as minimal as possible when you get really good at it. But even with it not minimal, it still looks pretty good if you do it at a reasonable pace. The second version of it, you first take the bottom and cut it to the top, and then immediately take the top and put it back on top. So the cut is righted. You know, the deck's in order right now. And then you just do a few of these on top. So you take the bottom of the pack, put it on top, and then immediately cut the top back on, and then do a couple of these. It's a pretty nice cut. It's all false. The deck stays in its order from start to finish. Goes good after any false shuffle, like the Stripcut false shuffle on this channel. So you do your Stripcut false shuffle, and then immediately bring the cards up and do a couple of them. And that really completes a nice false shuffle. Doing this little up the ladder technique at the end of the false shuffle. Really makes it look nice, and the deck stays in its order from ace to king. And that is up the ladder false cuts. If you liked the video, subscribe, maybe share it, drop a like, come back, watch the next one. What's up, guys? Today's video I actually have a card trick for you instead of a card control. And this trick is done with the 4 jacks. These 4 jacks are avid partiers. One at a time, they get in the car to go off to a party. When they get there, the first guy gets out and he runs all the way to the back of the party where the campfire is to play his guitar and drink. The second guy gets out, he runs all the way over to the pool table because he likes playing pool. The third guy gets out the car and he runs upstairs because he's a video game player and he likes playing video games. The fourth guy, well, he's the designated driver, so he kind of stays near the front door. He sits down on the couch and he starts watching a movie. And they're all there and they're partying, they're having a great time, playing pool, drinking. Well, his movie goes over, the designated driver, he can't drink, so he gets upset and he's like, "Come on guys, it's time to go." And they all run all the way up to the front to get back in the car. Now this is a pretty neat trick. You can use any story you want with it. You could say that these 4 guys are coal miners and they take different caves or different tunnels in the coal mine. Or you could say they're bank robbers and they go in through the basement and the back door and the window upstairs. Any way that you do it, or any story that you use, doesn't much matter, because at the end of the story, the designated driver or the crane operator or whatever story you're using, well, he calls for them and they always come running right back to the top or to the car. So let's get into how this is done. This has got a little bit of a sleight. It's a fun one. Basically, you have your 4 cards or your 4 jacks on top and you keep them there. If you want to shuffle, you just keep them on top, and then the trick starts. You say, we're going to use the 4 jacks. You turn them over on top of the deck like this. You spread them out, say we're using the 4 jacks. Now here's the sleight, or the trick. When you spread these out, you spread out the 3 cards underneath them as well. You don't call attention to that, of course. And you catch a break underneath those 3 cards with your pinky. This way, when you pick up the 4 jacks from the top of the pack, you're picking up the 4 jacks plus the 3 face down cards. And then when you go through the jacks one at a time, you're placing those jacks underneath those 3 cards. So now you have 3 indifferent cards on top of them. And then they get into the car. And now these 3 cards, when they go to the back of the party, you're not putting the jacks into the deck. The jacks are staying on top of the pack. But it looks like you are putting the jacks in. And then you've got your 1 jack that stays at the front of the party, or the top of the building, or whatever your storyline is. And then when he calls, they all come running back up to the top. And that's a really cool card trick. It looks really good. People are really impressed with it. It's an older school one. When I first learned it, they were bank robbers. One of them went in through the basement, one of them went in through the back door, and one of them went through an upstairs window. If you liked the video, drop a like, share it, come back for the next one. I realize I haven't made videos in a long time, but today I wanted to add just one more video to the videos I have. I've already showed 1 false shuffle and 3 false cuts, so I wanted to add a second false shuffle. This one's an overhand false shuffle, probably the most popular overhand false shuffle. There are different ways to do it. This is one of the easiest ways to do it. This is what it looks like, and that's a totally false shuffle. It leaves all the cards in the order they were in before you shuffled. Right now they're in numerical order from ace to king. And it's a pretty convincing false shuffle if done. It ain't got to be real fast, but you know, rather quickly. It can be a convincing false shuffle. It looks reasonable. It looks like I shuffled the cards, but yet they remain in numerical order from ace to king. So let's get into how this is done. If you've been on YouTube a while and you're into magic, you've seen this video. There is a guy that performs this shuffle very, very well. I was very impressed when I watched his video, and I decided to learn how to do it. How it's done is when you take the first chunk off and you come down to get the next chunk, you're taking the top part or chunk, and grabbing it between your thumb, ring finger, kind of like that, and holding it there. And then getting the next chunk and repeating the process, putting it behind that one as you get the next one, and so on until you've went through and cycled the whole pack, and then you throw that on top. And that keeps the deck in numerical order. It doesn't change any of the cards in the pack. So to say that again, you take the top pack, come down, you grab it between the thumb, ring finger, hold on to it, and then the pack that was right under the top pack, and then you put it right back under the top pack behind the deck. And you continue doing this until you've cycled all of the cards, and they stay in order. And my suggestion for practicing this is to do maybe 3 or 4. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Because normally most people, when they perform the normal overhand shuffle without any cheats, they only go 2 or 3 or 4 times, you know, 1, 2, 3, and then they're done, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that's the end of the overhand shuffle. So you're emulating the overhand shuffle, so you only really need to learn how to do it with 3 or 4 packets to start. You can then build up and get more advanced with it. But just doing 2 or 3 packets like that is all you really need to do. And the trick to learn it, a good way to start, because this is a little awkward at first, but it doesn't take very long to get used to doing a basic shuffle this way. The tip is to, instead of having this finger over the deck, you can keep it back like this when you first start. That way when you take that pack and you put it back here, it's like a spacer to keep it separate from the rest of the pack. And then you do the next few cards kind of like that until you get to the end and drop that pack off. So you put your finger behind, 2, 3, 4. After you do it a few times and you get a little bit used to it, just put your finger back up top and start placing them back there. And just go real slow at first. And then slowly speed it up as you continue. And you'll eventually get what will look like a really nice false shuffle started. Overhand shuffle, just like that. And the cards just stay in the same order they were in. You can dive much further into this shuffle. For instance, now I'm not very good at it, but I'm going to show you anyway. For instance, you see the Ace of Hearts here. If you perform this shuffle face up, because some people, you know, don't really care, they'll shuffle them face up for you to watch. But if you perform this shuffle face up, you'll notice that the Ace of Hearts comes back. So it starts with the Ace of Hearts, you perform the shuffle, and the Ace of Hearts stays there again. And if anybody's paying attention, they'll be able to see that. And this is one of those things to further this shuffle after you learn how to do it. I'm really not this far yet, because I just learned this in the last few months. What you want to do, though, to change that card so that it ain't the Ace of Hearts, is before you perform the shuffle, you kind of make a break on the top card here, which happens to be the Ace of Diamonds, and you hold a break in it. And then you perform the shuffle the same way, but when you get to the last packet, what you're doing, you're not grabbing that Ace of Diamonds, so when it comes down, that Ace of Hearts has changed now to a different card. And you can repeat this process again with another card, just like this, and then that Ace of Diamonds changes to a different card. The catch is now your deck is in the same order except for 2 cards. So in order to put it back, you have to do the shuffle 2 more times in this direction of the deck, this way. So you make that break and you shuffle the deck like this again, putting 1 card back, and then you make that break, you shuffle the deck again, and you put that 2nd card back. So now the deck is back in numerical order. And that's how you can do this face up without leaving the Ace of Hearts there to come back every time. It looks good, it looks real, and it keeps the deck in the original order it was in. Drop a like, subscribe, share the video, come back for the next one. Alright, I got some false cuts today. Let's try like 5 of them. There's a couple of them that are more like variations of each other, but we'll get into that. The first one is it's a swing false cut. You swing the top pack, drop it down, and that's a completely false cut. King of clubs on top here. Swing the top over, tap, and then complete the cut. That's a totally false cut. You're swinging the top half into your hand, tapping the bottom on it setting the bottom down, putting the top right back on top. If you want, you can leave it, make sure it's noticed that there's a break so that you have to square it up. That helps a little. But you swing it over, tab, set down. Completely false cut. That's number one. Number two, looks like this. And what you're doing with this one is you're just taking the bottom part out, kind of squaring it up, setting the bottom down, putting the top right back onto the bottom. And this is a kind of a variation of another one, which is number 3, which you perform kind of like that. You just, the illusion for this false cut is putting your finger over the back of it when you perform it, kind of like this, because your finger gives the illusion that the top of the deck is coming off, but really you're just pulling the bottom out, setting the bottom down, and then putting the top right back on the bottom. The thing that sells it is the finger across the back. And that's what this one is, kind of a variation, but I like to consider them 2 different cuts. You can do this without the finger on the back. It just does not look nearly as good, which is another variation of it. So what were we at? We got the swing cut, false cut. We've got this one and the one with the finger across the back. All false cuts. That's 3. Here's another false cut, which is kind of fun. You just take the three packs of cards, set them down, and then pick them back up. That's a false cut. What you're doing, if you're looking at it, you're taking the top of the deck, you're setting it down here. The middle of the deck, you're setting it down here. The bottom of the deck goes here. Then you're putting the top right back onto the middle, right back onto the bottom. Totally false cut. And then another false cut is right here tabled. You take, it looks like this. That's a total false cut. You're taking a packet from the bottom, setting it on top, leaving it jogged. Then you're taking another pack from the bottom, setting on top of that pack, leaving it jogged. And then at the jog, you're cutting it and putting the top right back on the top. So the bottom comes up, jogged. Then the middle comes up on top of the bottom. So you got middle, bottom, and then top. And then you're taking the bottom and middle and then putting the top right back on top of it. And that is a total deck false cut that looks fairly convincing. So for this set of false cuts, you've got the swing false cut, tap, drop. You've got this one, drop, and the one where you put the finger across the back and drop. Then you've got top, middle, bottom, top, middle, bottom, and the triple cut false cut. And they are all false cuts. They leave the deck in the original order it was in. Much simpler. They're nice to add to other little false cuts and stuff that you might do. And you just add one of these in to set the deck down. It gives the illusion of cutting the deck, and sometimes leaving the deck open, like when you finish the cut, kind of leaving a step or a break and then squaring it up helps for the illusion of cutting the deck. One point I really like to think of, I see a lot of people that have done this one, and they do it this way, which is a false cut in its own. That's actually 6 false cuts. But I feel like these and this are a variation of the one with the finger on the back, because the one with the finger on the back actually looks really good, and it's like the simplest cut you can do, and the deck never changes order. Anyway, that's 5 false cuts. Hey guys, today I want to talk about the Erdnase top stock control. I see all the tutorials on the Erdnase top stock and bottom stock control, but I never actually see anybody describe a simple use for them, and I'm going to do so in this video. So after a series of shuffles, look at that, I found a king. And a couple more shuffles, and I find another king. And like this with the top stock control, you can just find king after king until you have all 4 kings. If you've never seen the Erdnase top stock control, this might look pretty amazing, finding 1 king at a time. Let me tell you what the top stock control is if you don't know. Here's all 4 kings. I'll leave them on top, face up, so you can follow. Top stock control is pretty simple. While shuffling, you just keep the top stock 10 or 12 cards or so on top of the shuffle and you square up. And that is the Erdnase top stock control. You shuffle, making sure to leave the top few cards on top, and you're controlling the top stock of cards and producing 1 king at a time while doing so. This gets your fingers used to manipulating the cards as they fall in the riffle. And this is a simple use for the top stock control as you shuffle. And if you want to make this look super impressive, all you have to do is perform the top stock control and then perform a simple false cut and grab a king off and produce it. And that's the Erdnase top stock control. Very simple, almost a duh kind of technique, but you can do very powerful magic with it. I've always seen the tutorials. I've never seen anybody actually put a simple use to it to make it useful for anyone. So I thought I would today, and that is the Erdnase top stock control. By all means, if you liked the video, press the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that little bell. Come back, watch the next one. Maybe drop a like or a share. See you on the next one. What's up, guys? I feel I need to take a moment just to point out how terrible of a performance that was of this classic 4-ace vanish. But the concept is true, and I'm going to teach you how to do it right now. But before I do that, if you haven't subscribed yet, go down there and press that subscribe button, hit the bell next to it. Make sure you drop a like as well. So let's get right into it. For this trick, you need the 4 aces. Now, there are other versions of it that you can use other cards like Spectator's Chosen cards, or 4 cards like the 4 kings or 2s or something.
But let's just get right into this and how this is done. You got the 4 aces, you got them on top, and you're displaying them to the spectator. To make the first ace disappear, what you're doing is, when you push these over to show the 4 aces, you're pushing 3 extra cards over on top, as you can see here. 1, 2, 3. 3 extra cards. And when you square them up for a split second, you're keeping a break, a pinky break, under those 3 cards. So you've got the 4 aces and 3 extra cards with a pinky break under them. So again, you spread them out, you get 3 extra cards, and then you kind of square them up shortly, grabbing the 3 extra cards underneath, and you pull the first ace over onto the top of the pack. You set the pack down, placing the other 3 aces and 3 random cards on top of that ace. This is one of those tricks that is one of the reasons why we like using decks that have borders on them, because it makes it harder to see. And then, you know, you wave your hand and 1 ace vanishes. You've only got 3 left, and you can even spread the next 2 cards. In fact, you want to spread the next 2 cards. So you're here, you spread the next 2 cards out, then you put the 3 aces back on, getting a break under those next 2 cards, and you slide the next ace over. You place the last 2 aces and the last 2 random cards on top of that ace, give it a magic wave, and now a second ace has vanished. Now, you'll notice here 2 aces have vanished, and what you have currently is the first ace that vanished, a random card, the second ace that vanished, and the 2 random cards that are left. So what you do, you spread these out, showing the second ace has vanished, and just push over 1 card this time. When you square it up, you grab that 1 card with it, slide the next ace off. It's kind of important that these are squared so no one can see the random card, and then you place that on top. You give it the magic wave, and now the third ace has vanished, and there's only 1 ace left. And then what I did on my performance there is, I don't know what you would call this. I don't even know if it's actually a move. I just kind of started doing it one day. But what I did was I did this, and then I brought my hand over and made the ace vanish like that. And what you end up with is a random card, an ace, a random card, an ace, a random card, and then an ace, and another random card, and an ace. That's what you end up with when all the aces have vanished. Now, what I did for that last vanish there is for that last vanish, when you have the 1 ace left on top, what I did was I put my fingers, my pinky and ring finger, on this bottom card right here, and I slid it over into a palm position, kind of like that. So I stole the bottom card off the pack, slid that into a palm, and took it way back in the palm. You want it way back here. You don't want it to be seen by any of these, through any of these fingers. You want it to be way back. I don't know what palm this is, but you want it to be way back here. So again, when you go through, let's just go over it one more time. You've got the 4 aces on top. You spread them, and you spread 3 extra cards. And then you pinky underneath those 3 extra cards, come over, slide the first ace off, placing the next 3 aces and 3 extra cards on top of the first ace. Boom. Magic wave, ace vanishes. You got 3 aces left. You push a couple of cards over. Now, what you want to be careful of doing is you don't want, when you're doing this, you don't want to show the ace that's hidden underneath, because if you do too many, you'll see that ace right there. So you want to be careful when doing this part and only get 2 cards over this time. And then repeat the process, sliding the next ace off, just like this. And then with just 1 card this time, you grab that, slide the next ace off. You want to try to make sure these are square so no one can see them. Place that on top, and you only have one ace left. And then the move that I was doing was this. I pull this bottom card off into a palm when I hand the deck over. When I pass the deck to the right hand, I'm palming a card off in the left hand, like that. And I'm pushing that card. That card's way back in palm, so you can hardly tell it's there. Full speed looks something like this. And then what I'm doing with this card way back here in palm, kind of clipped a little bit in the pinky, but it's hard to do that without it being visible. But you want to have it back below that, behind that. And then what I did is I brought my hand over and I sat the palmed card onto the bottom of my thumb here. So now I'm holding the card just by pressure on my thumb so I can slide it around and move it. So I bring that over and I set it down, and then I just slide that card on top of the ace, covering it up. So I steal the bottom card and slide it on top of the ace, just like that, making the last ace vanish. And I'm left in this position with the 4 aces. Okay. This is a classic of Magic. They've figured out so many better ways of doing this one. But I saw it and I thought I'd learn it, and it's a pretty nice one. 4 aces, you slide the 3 extra cards over, kind of keep that pinky break, and then set all of them down. First ace vanishes. Then you slide 2 cards over, set it on top, second ace vanishes. Slide 1 card over, put it on top, third ace vanishes. That leaves you with 1 ace. Now another way to do this one, if you're good at it, you might do the Erdnase change. And that makes that card disappear. Or you could do a pass and just get the card into the center of the deck, or get the aces into the center, totally removing them from the top of the pack. Like I said, there's so many ways to do this, but this is just a neat one that I liked. I felt good practicing and learning how to do this. Plus it helps you get your thumb used to grabbing specific cards. You can also get good at the pinky break. This gives you good practice with the pinky break when doing it. And it also gets you good practice on controlling the cards that you're sliding over so not to flash the ones underneath. So there's lots of good techniques that you get practice in with this one trick. Second ace gone, third ace gone, and then you've got the last ace. You have the multiple ways of making this last ace vanish. Like I said, you could do the pass, slipping all the aces into the center, the Erdnase change, and that leaves you with 2 aces there to get rid of the last ace, or any other version of any kind of card thing you want to do to make that last ace disappear. Anyway, that's how you do this trick. I think it's a pretty good one. If you like it, drop a like, share the video, come back and watch the next one. Okay guys, it's time for the tutorial on the one-handed double lift. I believe this is a Buckley. Anyway, I don't really use it as a double lift. I just think it's a fancy way to turn over a single card. It's really hard to get this one down and make it work every single time. But it is a nice way to turn over at least one card. But with practice, you can definitely get it to one-hand double lift out of this. And it looks kind of like this with one card. Now I want to point out something really quick that I noticed really fast when I started trying to do this one again. Is this is a trick that really points out the importance of learning these things with your left hand. Let me show you what I mean by the pip value on the cards. When you turn this card over, hold on. When you turn this card over like this, what happens is you end up covering up this top corner's pip, so you can only show the bottom corner, which is cool, but it just looks so much better in the left hand when you do this, so when you're not covering up that pip value. Because if you do this in the left hand, I'm not very good in the left hand, but let me show you what I mean. You flip this card over, you're not covering the pip value, so both pip values are showing, and it just looks that much better in the left hand. But it can still be done in the right hand. I was just pointing out that this is one of those things that kind of points out why you might want to learn with the left hand. Anyway, so what we're doing to get this card over, let's go through this in a little bit of detail. This is just practicing with one single card first. What you're doing is a thumb count. You're letting one card come up, or two cards come up. But anyway, the thumb count, you just riffle off one card with your thumb. You hold the deck in like a dealer position, sort of, and then you use your thumb. I put my index finger behind and riffle off one card. Then I kind of push my thumb underneath that card, just like that. So again, what it looks like, you riffle off that one card and then push your thumb underneath of it. And then from here, your index finger, your thumb kind of pushes up on the corner, your index finger grabs sort of the middle or corner of the card and pulls it back down, flipping the card over. And you end up holding on to the corner, the outer corner of the card, which just so happens to be with the right hand where the pip value is. So all you can see is the bottom pip value. Now I know there's some cards that are gaffed and have like a different pip value in one corner, and maybe this will work for that. I'm not really sure. I don't have any of those cards. But you riffle one card off, put your thumb under it, with your index finger grab sort of the middle or corner, and then flip the card over like this. Boom. And that gives you a one-handed top card reveal sort of thing. So what you do is riffle, grab, flip, and you've got one card showing now. Now, to do a one-handed double lift this way, it's the same thing, except you riffle two cards. And then put your thumb under both of the cards, and then do the same movement, flipping two cards up as one. Now, see, if you notice real close here, you can see I don't got them straightened. It's hard to straighten them out. And it's a one-handed double lift. Okay, so again, you thumb riffle two cards up, put your thumb underneath of it, come up with your index finger, grab the card here, sort of in the middle corner, and flip them over as one. It's hard to get the card straight when it flips, but if you do, it's a one-handed double lift, and you can move into a color change or anything like that. This, you don't see very many one-handed double lifts. This is the only one I've ever seen. If you know any more double lifts with one hand, comment them comment me a link so I can check them out. And that's a one-handed double lift right there. Just like that. So yeah, it's pretty simple. You're kind of in dealer position, and then you put your index finger underneath the deck, thumb to the side, riffle two cards. Thumb goes underneath those two cards, finger comes up, thumb moves to the corner, flips the two cards over as one. and that is a one-handed double lift, just like that. And that's how you do a one-handed double lift. I think this is, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, but it's like Arthur Buckley. Card control is where this is shown. It's the only one-handed double lift I've ever seen, and I like it. It's one of my favorite things to just practice when I'm bored with the deck. Just because it's unique. It makes, for any routine where you're doing a double lift, like a ambitious card routine, this is a neat way to display a double lift and make it look, you know, flourishy, special. Anyway, if you liked the video, press the like button. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Come back for the next one. See you later. What's up, guys? I'm about to do the tutorial for that little flourish you just seen. This is a very easy technique to achieve. Sometimes the easiest ones are the best. So let's have a look at what it is that we are doing here. We are taking a card and flipping it over on top of the pack, 7 of diamonds. Okay? Now, in the context, let's say you have a spectator choose a card. They choose any card they want. Let's say they choose the ace of diamonds. You then control the ace of diamonds to the bottom of the pack. So the spectator's chosen a card, and you've controlled it to the bottom of the pack. And now, from here, you do a fancy cut to add some dynamic to it, and then the card reveal. Ace of diamonds. Now what you're doing to do this ace of diamonds reveal, or the spectator's chosen card, is you're doing a swing cut and then contacting that ace of diamonds either with just the tip of your thumb here or your thumb and your palm. It's all about how you want to do it, but you're sliding that card out and over on top as you complete the swing cut. So you're here, you bring the pack over a little further and then slide the card out and on top. And what you want to pay attention to and make sure that happens is that you get that card to make contact with this top packet the whole time as it flips. Because if you bring the card out too far, you'll lose contact and won't be able to get the flip, and then the card will just flop or fall. So you want to make sure it's easier done quick, this one. A lot of them are, actually. But yeah, so what you're doing is just swinging it and then using your thumb here, or thumb and palm, or whole hand, and bringing that card out and flipping it over on top. And that's the technique. This is one of those really simple techniques. Doesn't take a lot of practice. I mean, you can get this done pretty quickly without too much effort. And it just adds that little bit of flair to the card reveal. If you like the video, drop a like, press subscribe, make sure to hit the little bell, and I'll see you on the next one.
What's up, guys? So I've been putting a little work into the Harmen Pass video. I made a little clip with some background music and everything. I'm gonna roll the clip. We're gonna get right into the Harmen Pass. It's otherwise known as the Hofstensr Pass, from Johann Nepomuk Hofstensr.
It was first published in like 1897 as the Invisible Turnover Pass, and Stan Hun's Serial Lessons of Card Conjuring. Check out this clip, watch the tutorials, subscribe, press that like button, share. Check it out.
The Hofzinser Pass. The Harmen Pass, one of its original publishings was in 1897, and it was a turnover pass. I'm going to demonstrate that here right now with these 4 kings you see on top of the pack here. 4 kings go on top, you cut them into the middle, and you turn over the pack like this, and they come right back to the top. And that's the turnover pass. Serial Lessons in Conjuring.
This is the tutorial for the Harmen Pass, or the Hofzinser Pass. One of the first publications was in 1897, and it was publicized as the Invisible Turnover Pass, which is really just a cover-up for the Harmen Pass. We're going to demonstrate it with this King of Clubs here on top of the pack. This is what it looks like. You cut it into the middle, for all intents and purposes it's lost in the pack. You turn the deck over and boom, it's back on top. Now, this is how it's done. Let me show. With the king face up here, you cut it into the middle of the pack. It's lost in the deck. What you're really doing is catching a break just above the king here with your pinky. The pinky break. Now, when you're turning the pack over, what's happening is you want to put pressure like on this corner here. You notice how there's a gap there? You want to put a little pressure and kind of like make that gap go away, so it's hard to tell that you have a break, but your pinky's still in there. But what you're doing is you're taking the top half above the king and turning it over like this, and at the same time you're taking the bottom half and bringing it like this. So what happens is, slowly, straightforward, you're doing this, and then you're taking the top half, putting it onto the bottom, or the bottom half, and putting it onto the top. So it looks like this. And then the King of Clubs is on top. And that's basically how you do the turnover pass, the Invisible Turnover Pass. Boom, just like that. So what's happening, like, if you do it from the side, like this angle, your hand covers up all of the action, so it's impossible to see. King of Clubs is here, you get your pinky break, and then you just do the pass, just like that. And no one's the wiser. It's almost a color change this way. Just boom, and it's on top. So if you were doing this, you could just turn to the side while talking to a spectator, and boom, the pass is done, and no one is the wiser. King of Clubs in the middle. Even from this side, it's hard to detect if done correctly. And the king is on top. I mean, there's several ways of doing this. There's probably 10 different cover-ups. Some would say that the turnover pass is actually just a cover-up for the pass itself when done like this. But if done correctly, you can make it look pretty impossible, almost like a color change right here. Just doing the pass straight up like that. But yeah, this is the Harmen Pass, or the Hofzinser Pass, and it looks just like that. And one more time, just to go over it, what's happening is you're taking the bottom half of the pack, which is here, and you're just literally moving it to the top of the pack, top of the deck. Some people will tell you that, and they're not wrong, you can, when you bring it up, you can bring the pack back a lot, like back this way. So when you do the pass, you can bring the pack back, drop it on further back, and then kind of square it up as the pass goes. So it would look kind of like this to make a color change. Well, here's the Queen of Spades, but you can do it that way. The Queen of Spades into the middle, you bring it back and drop it, and now it's on top. That is more of a color change method for this than anything else when you do this way. But it's the Harmen pass, boom, just like that. All you're literally doing is taking the bottom half and putting it on top, under the cover of your hand. The turnover, when you add the turnover, that just makes it look that much better and harder to detect, because it just looks like you're naturally doing, a fancy turnover like this, and the queen comes back. And that's how you do the Harmen pass. From the side over here, it works really well as like a color change. If you take the deck and you do it with the bottoms out like this, there's the King of Clubs, and then you just catch a break and boom, change the King of Clubs to a 3 of Clubs, like that. It works really well as a color change. And that's the Harmen pass. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button, press that little bell next to it, and get notified when I drop a new video. You guys have a good day.
What's up, guys? Today I am here with a super simple indicator card magic trick. So let's get started on how this works. What you do, you have a spectator and they select a card. They can pick any card, it's a card of their choice. In this case, we'll say they picked the 2 of Hearts. And then you have the spectator cut the cards anywhere they want and put their 2 of Hearts where they cut, complete the cut. And just for suspense, or to make it a little bit more lost in the pack, I'll go ahead and cut the deck a couple of times just to lose their card in the pack where it can't be found. Now we're going to look through the pack to see if we can find an indication of where their card is. So we spread them on the table and we see immediately that there's a card face up here. And it's the 5 of Hearts. Is that your card? Well, no, it's not. It's an indication card. So we're going to say this indicates where your card is. So we'll count down 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 cards down from the indicator card is, you guessed it, their 2 of Hearts. And you have located their 2 of Hearts. But to make it one better, the 4 cards in between just so happen to be the 4 aces. Now this trick all by itself isn't all that impressive, but if you were to put it into the right routine, it would make for a really nice trick. How this is done is pretty simple. Let's get right into that. The tutorial. Here's how it's done. What you do, beforehand you have the 4 aces and a 5. You take the 5, you put it face up on the bottom, just like that. And then you put the aces right on the bottom, right there. So you've got, on the bottom of the pack, you've got the 5 face up and the 4 aces underneath of it. And that's how you start this trick. You then have the spectator select a card. They select any card they want, doesn't matter what it is. And in this case it's the 3 of hearts. You have the spectator cut the pack. They place their 3 of hearts where they cut to. And then you place the 5 and the 4 aces. When you do this cut and complete it, the 5 and the 4 aces go directly on top of their card. So now in the middle of the pack you have a face-up 5, the 4 aces, and the selected card. And just to make it a little bit more, just to add something to it, to make it look a little bit crazier so that the card's lost in the pack, you cut the deck a couple of extra times, making sure not to cut where that 5 or the aces are. So you cut a little high, complete the cut, and then you cut a little low and complete the cut, and the deck's been cut twice more, card's lost in the deck. And then you say you're going to look for an indication of their card, and when you spread the card out, there'll be a face-up 5. You say, is that your card? Spectator will say no, and you say, well, it indicates where your card is. So from the 5, we'll count 5 cards down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And there is the selected card, their card. But the one step further is that the 4 cards in between are in fact the 4 aces. And that is an indicator card trick. Though it is not very impressive all by itself, within the right context of a routine, it could be a very nice way to produce the 4 aces. Again, you find a 5, like this one, you put it face up on the bottom, you put the 4 aces right after it on the bottom, so you have that. And that is how the card trick's done. All they got to do is select a card, doesn't really matter what it is, and then place it. Once you have them selected, you have them cut the deck, and you place the selected card on the top heap. So if the selected card's a 7 of diamonds, they would place it there, and the 5 and the aces go on top of it. And then after that, it's pretty simple. You just spread the cards out, and the indicator card, you count down 5, and you've got the selected card with the 4 aces in between. And that is a very, very super simple indicator card trick. If you liked the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, press the bell. See you next time.
Hey guys, what's up? Second snowfall of the year here. Before I start this video, I just want to say, remember to practice safety. They have a safety for a reason. Make sure you're using it. It's a BB gun, but it's still a gun. You can hear that ricochet hit the boat over there. And we're out. And that was the last of the CO2 cartridge. You can hear it dying. This one shoots about 80 rounds, 60 to 80 rounds. Let's get to the video.
What's up, guys? Alright, in a moment I'm gonna give you a card, and we're gonna do this by process of elimination, and whatever card's randomly left when we're done will be your card. So here's what I want you to do. To get to a random selection here, I just want you to point at 2 piles. These 2? Alright, we'll remove this one and this one from the mix. That leaves 2 piles. just point at one pile. That one, we'll remove that one. Now we've got 4 cards left. Point at 2 of them. These 2, we'll remove these 2. That leaves us with 2 cards. Just point at one of them. That one, okay, we'll remove that one. That leaves us with 1 card, your card, randomly selected via process of elimination. Go ahead and look at that card and remember it. And this is known, I've heard it called as the Magician's Force, or the process of elimination discovery, or something of that nature. Very, very old concept, but if you're new to magic, you might not have seen it, and it's pretty neat. And I'm going to show you how it's done in just a second. Here's how it's done. Basically, what you do is the card you want to force, you want to get that to the top of the pack. So the Ace of Spades is on top. Then all you got to do when you're laying the cards out on the table is remember where you put that card. Now, obviously putting it down the very first card, someone might notice that, but I doubt it, because it's time misdirection in the trick. But you could always do a second deal and not put it down as the first card, or something like that, just to be a little bit more confusing. But anyway, so what you do is you deal the 4 piles, putting the force card as the first one down, and then 2 on top of it, like that, in a square, and then do 4 piles this way. You could just do 2 piles, but 4 is good. And then you just have the participant point at 2, and this is where the trickiness comes in, because you can't get rid of this pile. You have to have them end on this card right here. So, no matter what they point at, you gotta not remove this pile. So if the spectator points at, say, these 2 piles, you remove the other 2. And you say, well, those are out of the equation. And then you say, point at 1 pile. If the participant points at this pile, well, then you just remove that pile, leaving the pile you want in. Then you tell them to point at 2 cards. If they point at these 2, you remove the opposite 2. That leaves you with 2 left. The Ace of Spades over here, you point at 1 card. If they point at the Ace of Spades, you remove the other one. If they point at this card, you remove this card, leaving the Ace of Spades seemingly at random left over. And every time they get the force card. And I've heard it referred to as the Magician's Force. I believe that's what it's called. I'm not really sure. And that's a pretty easy one. That's another card force to add to the list I have on here. I stopped by Fiverr the other day and I paid for an intro clip, just a few bucks. I didn't push the issue. I just wanted the designer to give me something fun. I'm going to let that play. Anyway, that's pretty good. You guys have a nice day. What's up, guys? I'm about to show you the color changing aces version 2 with the 4 aces here. Now what you want to do, go ahead and mix them up a little bit. You take the first ace, the ace of spades, you put it right here. That leaves you 1, 2, 3 more aces. You take the second ace, which is the ace of clubs, put it on top of the ace of spades. That leaves you the 2 red aces. But if you flip the cards like this, this becomes the black aces and the red aces are over here. How it's done. This is how it's done. First, the organization of the cards are important. You want red ace, black aces in the middle. So when you pick them up, you want the 2 black aces in the middle of the pile, just like this. That way, you're going to do 2 consecutive double lifts. This is the easy version. It's just double lifts. So what you do is you do your first double lift. How I do it is I just catch a break. I use my thumb to feel the cards, and I get 2 cards, and I catch a break with my pinky right here. Or I just hold the cards like this, leaving the break in between the 2. So you have 2 cards here, 2 cards here. And then you display 2 cards as one, and you say this is the first ace, the ace of clubs. You place that back on top, sliding the top card, which isn't the ace of clubs, it should be a red ace, over here. But they think it's the ace of clubs, so you're putting the ace of clubs there. That leaves you with 3 cards left. 1 black ace, 2 black aces, and the other red ace. So you switch the order, you say 1, 2, 3 cards left. Now the red ace is on top here. And you simply do another double lift, same way you did the first one, displaying the other black ace, the ace of spades. Place that on top, slide it over here, but what you've really done is slid the second red ace here. That leaves you the 2 black aces in this hand and the red aces over here. And you do this just by having the black aces in the middle of the pile. So you perform the first double lift, you say, oh, ace of spades, place that there, 1, 2, 3 cards left, and then you perform another double lift, ace of clubs, place that there, and boom, you've got the 2 black aces in this hand and the 2 red aces on the table. And that is the second version of the color changing aces using only a double lift. So if you've practiced the double lift, you can do this version relatively easy, displaying the aces and making them change color. Just like that. And that is version 2 from Mark Wilson's Complete Course in Magic. To display a double lift, you can pick it up, display it that way, and okay, I have a quick trick for you today utilizing the 2 red aces. It's a pretty good trick. I like it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk to the spectator, and we're going to ask them to tell us to stop anywhere while we deal cards on the table. Really fair. We're going to try to lose the aces in the pack, so we have the spectator tell us stop anywhere. It really doesn't matter where they say stop at, so let's just say they say stop here. We take the ace, we put it here, buried in the pack, and then we have another spectator or the same spectator ask us or tell us to stop anywhere again as we deal off cards. It really doesn't matter where they say stop at. Let's just say they say stop right here. We take this next ace, we put it in the pack like this, and bury it in the deck. Now, we put them in there face up because they went in there for something. And as you see, you spread them out like this, you can see the aces here in the pack are next to a specific card each. So you pull these out, right next to that card, right next to that card. Now the spectators told us to stop there, and it just so happens it found the other two aces. Pretty cool, right? This trick is very easy to do. The setup is pretty simple. You take the two black aces or the two red aces, and you put one on top, one on bottom. And then you just do exactly what I just did. With one ace on the bottom and one ace on the top, you'll notice that when I start to deal and ask them to have me stop anywhere, the ace on top goes to the bottom of that pile. And then as you deal off cards and they say stop, you put this ace face up. What you're doing is you're taking the ace here, this ace of clubs, setting it right on top of the ace of hearts and picking up the whole pile. So now that ace of clubs is right next to the ace of hearts. And on the bottom we have an ace of spades. So you ask them to do it again, tell me stop, you deal off some cards, they say stop, you put this ace here, you set the ace of spades directly on top of it, and the trick's done. They have already found their partners in the deck. Right above them is the other ace. And that's how simple this trick is to do. It's a self-working card trick basically. And they have found the partner aces. Now, this trick can be utilized in many different ways. You could do finding a chosen card doing something like this. For instance, if you had 4 spectators each choose a card, you could produce the first 2 spectators' cards, whatever they might be, and then you could follow the rest of the trick if you've controlled the cards correctly, and you could do this with spectators' chosen cards. But with it on the bottom and on the top, it's really that simple. You just start dealing them off. They say stop anywhere. If they say stop here, you place them in. You're placing the ace of spades directly on top of the ace of diamonds. You're picking it up. The ace of clubs is on the bottom already. And then you're just doing it again. As they say stop anywhere, you place that one there. And now you're placing the ace of clubs on top of the ace of hearts. And the trick's done. Once you spread these apart and you have them, you take the card above the ace on each one of them. Each ace has found its partner in the deck, the other 2 aces. And that's how to do this really simple self-working card discovery. Thanks for watching. I have a bonus illusion for this video, or a bonus trick. And this is really the cheater's way of doing this trick. This is your card at any number, okay? The cheater's version. So let's say the spectator has chosen the 2 of diamonds at random. And now you have controlled it to the top of the pack. So now you have their chosen card on top. Now all you do is have them guess a number between 10 and 20, for instance, and let's say they say 12. So what you do is you just use the second deal to get to the 12th card. So you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and the 12th card being their card, the 2 of diamonds. The cheater version of the chosen card at any number.
Hey guys, what's up? So I was surfing YouTube and I found a YouTube channel called Exit 707. And there's a guy doing magic tricks on the channel, and I saw this magic trick and I thought it was cool. It's an ace trick, an ace reveal or discovery. It's a pretty advanced trick and I like it. So let's get right into it. Alright guys, this is how the trick starts. Set the deck down, ask the spectator to cut the deck about in the middle. And then you'll have two piles. You ask them to cut each pile about in the middle. Kind of like this. So you have 4 piles. You pick up the first pile, flip over a card, you got an 8. So you count down 8 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the 8th card will be an ace. 1 ace revealed. The next pile is a 6. Count down 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 6th card will be an ace. Third pile. Flip over the top card, you got a 5. Count down 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And of course the last pile, we got another 5. Count down 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that's a 4 ace reveal. There are some things to note here. 1, you notice that the 5 I flipped over was clubs, and the 6 I flipped over was hearts, and the 6 was diamonds, the 5 was hearts, and the 8 was spades. Now you notice this because I've got the deck in a particular order. The setup for this trick is what we're getting into now. Okay, the way I had the cards set up for this trick that you just saw was I just had them simply in suit, ace through king. All 4 stacks, in suit, ace through king. And then what I did, what you do for this trick, is you stack them like that, ace through king, all the way through the deck. And then you cut off 7, 8 cards and put them on top. Now because they're suited, the trick looks a little funny at the end when you actually do the trick because they're suited. So what you really want the deck to look like is this. You want them in numerical order, ace through king, but all mixed up on all of them. All of them are all mixed up, but they're in ace through king order. That's what you really want the deck to look like. If you're doing this as just a single trick, you know, standing by itself, you want the cards to be looking all mixed up, but you want them in numerical order, ace through king, ace through king, ace through king, ace through king. But you still want to cut 7 or 8 cards to the top, leaving the 8 on top, the 9 on bottom, and the ace, 5, 6 cards down. And then you're ready to begin this trick. This is actually a really advanced magic trick, because this makes the trick look better when you have the spectator cut the cards in about the middle. You have to stress about the middle. And then about the middle again. Now this time when you flip the card over, we have an 8 of spades. So we count down 8 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. It just so happened to be the spades. Alright, but now we flip the next one over, we got a 7 of clubs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So you've got the ace of hearts this time. No correlation. Next card over, 7 of spades. Now this could be the spade, we don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we got diamonds. It looks more random and more real. The other way, when the card you count matches the suit of the aces, it could be noticed. And then we got a 6, and it's spade, so we're obviously going to get a club. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we got the ace of clubs.
Now this is actually a very advanced trick, because this is a standalone magic trick, yes. But if you try to incorporate this into an actual 5 or 10 minute card routine at the table, it's going to be hard to do. You'll need, I don't know, 3 short cards or 3 crimped cards to mark where the cuts are. You wouldn't be able to allow the spectator to cut it, because you'd have to be cutting them in the very specific places where your crimp card is or your short card is, so that they all end up where you want them, and when you're counting and reversing the order, you're putting the cards in the order you want. This is actually a super advanced card trick here. But yeah, it's a pretty easy card trick, standalone. It's a good way to reveal the aces, and then you can go into color changing aces or any other routine with the aces, but these cards are going to be now in strange orders with the numericals. Like this one's got 8 through king, and then it's got 2 through 8 in the same pile because of the way it's cut. But yeah, this is a pretty cool trick. I was streaming on TikTok, but I dropped my phone, shattered to a million pieces, trying to do a review video, and this was my stream setup, kind of. Share the video, drop a like, subscribe if you haven't, come back to watch the next one. Alright guys, I got another quick, easy, very simple ace discovery trick for you today. This is straight from the pages of the Royal Road to Card Magic. Super simple, super simple. And here's what you do. You shuffle the deck, and you hand the deck to the spectator. You might have to demonstrate. And you tell them that you want 4 even piles on the table. Just like that. Then what you do is ask them to pick up the first pile, take 3 cards, put it onto the bottom, and then put 1 card on each of the other 3 piles. And then do the same thing with the next pile. 3 cards on the top, 3 cards go underneath, and then 1 card on each. 3 cards go underneath, 1 card on each, just like that. And then you reveal to them that they have located all 4 of the aces. That quick, that simple. That's the trick. It's really easy. The secret is even more simple. So let's get right to that. And here's how you do this one. The setup for this trick is just have the 4 aces on top of the pack. Just like that. You have all 4 aces right on top of the pack. That's the setup for the trick. Everything else is self-working. It's a self-working trick. When you shuffle, you just do a Erdnase top stock control, making sure to maintain the aces on the top of the pack when you do the shuffle, and then square up. And then when they cut the deck into 4 even piles, the aces remain on this pile. So you've got all 4 aces right here on this one. And then as they do 3 underneath and then 1 on top of each pile, they put 1 card on top of that ace, or the aces. They put 3 underneath, 2 cards on top of the aces, the 3 underneath, and then 3 cards on top of the aces. So when they do the 3 underneath over here, there's 3 indifferent cards on top of this pile. So those 3 cards go straight to the bottom, leaving the 4 aces up top. So when they put this, they're doing 1, 2, 3. All 4 aces are now across the top of the piles like that. And that's how simple this ace discovery is to do. The setup is just as easy as having the 4 aces on top of the pack. So yeah, hit that subscribe button, press like. Make sure you hit the little bell so that you get notified whenever I make a new video. Alright guys, today I got a really easy one. Well, actually this is not such an easy one. This is a card sleight or technique utilizing the Hindu shuffle. It actually works well with the Hindu shuffle card control that I've already posted on the channel, but this one's a card force. So in this case we want to force the 3 of hearts, for instance, okay? So we have that on top of the pack. Alright, so for the Hindu force, you do the same sort of technique as you do as the card control. So you begin the Hindu shuffle and you start doing this, and then you ask the spectator to tell you stop. They say stop, you say, well, here, or you want me to do another one more, or stop here. They say stop here, you say, okay, well, here's your card, the 3 of hearts. Alright? And then, as in the card control that I taught in the other video, you then complete the shuffle and finish shuffling off the cards. And there you go. And you bring that force card right back to the top. So this is how it works. You say, okay, tell me stop anywhere as you begin the shuffle. They say here, you say you want me to stop here, or do you want me to pull another one off, or what? They say, yeah, go ahead, pull another one off. You say, okay, here, so you want me to stop? They say, yeah. You say, okay, well, right here is your 3 of hearts. And then you just finish the shuffle and shuffle off the rest and bring that 3 of hearts directly to the top. In concession, doing both of these, I call it the warmonger. But you have the card you want to force on top. You then begin the Hindu shuffle. And when you do this on this first move, when you come down to grab that first pack off, what you're doing with your thumb and fingers is you're grabbing the top couple of cards from here. So you come here, you grab the top few cards, and then you shuffle, maintaining control of those few cards that you see there. And when they say stop, you say here, you want me to stop here, or you want me to take another one? And if they say stop here, you drop those few cards onto the top of the pile and you say, okay, well, this is where you stop me at, the 3 of hearts. And then you just complete the shuffle by coming back, grabbing those few cards again, complete the shuffle, and when you get down to the last bit of the pack, you simply, as soon as you pull off all the cards above that break, right here, you throw that on top, and there's the 3 of hearts. So again, you come down, you start by grabbing a few cards under the cover of your hands and cards here. You begin the shuffle, you say, tell me to stop anywhere. They say here, you say, are you sure you don't want me to pull off another pack? They say, yeah. You drop that pack that was in your hand under the break. You say, this is where you stop me at the 3 of hearts. And there you go. And then you just finish by picking them back up and shuffling the rest of the pack off. And it looks like they've chosen a card, and that card's hopelessly lost in the pack. All in one motion, you have forced the card and controlled it right back to the top. The warmonger is what I call it. Pretty good one. Great control for stand-up street magic. The Hindu card force, card control. You simply have the card you want to force on the top, and you begin the Hindu shuffle. They stop you here, you say, oh, here? Okay, well, here's your card. And then you just finish the shuffle off, and it looks like they've selected a card and it's lost in the deck, but the whole time you've maintained it on the top of the pack. That is the Hindu shuffle card force and top card control. And holding them,
You definitely don't want to do it sideways. You know, you want to stay low, out of everybody's sight. You want to have your fingers guarding most of it on this side. You know, your thumb kind of guarding everything on that side. So that